What's up, bitches? This is Critical, the history of a lot of different shit at this point in time and space. I'm Mongo, joined as I pretty much always am by my co-host Liger Boosa. And this week we are fucking finally going to fantasy book that 1995 WWF video game. But before we get there, a lot of stuff's happened in the last week. How are you, bud?
I feel like I'm getting sick again. I woke up today with a sore throat, and I'm the only one in the house that's not like coughing their guts out. So that's fun stuff. I'll be having like a torn side or pulled muscles or whatever again. That's gonna be great. Besides that, I'm doing all right. You know, it's been pretty chill this week. Obviously, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. I mean, with all those fantastic 2K announcements.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, yeah. Shout outs to everybody who contacted me when they saw the Battle Pass shit. They were like, oh, buddy, I can't wait for this because I don't know if they've clarified how that thing was written, but I've got some shit to say based on how it was written. So it's funny. I actually was sick last weekend. I'm pretty sure the subway in my hometown tried to kill me.
Like the
Eat
actual
fresh, refresh my ass, bro.
Okay,
No, like
yeah.
we don't have public transportation here. If we did, life would be way better.
What was it? Was it the
But like,
Meatball era?
no, I got like my usual my gimmick since I was like 10, 11 was like chicken breast, peppercorn ranch, pickle, tomato, onion, spinach.
Right.
Italian herb and cheese bread if it's available. If not, I'm not fussy. They had started doing these new protein pockets. They're like $4. They're like a little wrap. They advertise like 21 grams of protein or some fucking stupid shit. But I was all the way home and mom's like, well, we've got a coupon in the car for, a sub for $6.99. And I was like, ah, fuck it, I'll take a sub. So I got home and I ate it. And Friday night I started to feel a little rough. Saturday had like the bubble guts. Sunday, literally after I recorded, was when it got really bad with the like, if it's not coming out one end, it's coming out the other.
Oh
I
God.
wasn't keeping solid food down at all. I call off to work on Monday and Tuesday, which, by the way, coincides with the worst snowstorm we've gotten in like 3 years. And it turns out if I would have just said, yeah, the roads are too bad, I can't come in, I would not have, had to take an attendance point.
Right.
But since I said, no, I'm sick, like I told the truth, like you're supposed to do, I fucking have an attendance point, which is hilarious. But I ended up with a 4-day weekend, which was, wonderful. Aside from the shitting and puking my brains out part. But I was telling you, I had this like super in-depth design document. My phone did a security update. And today was the day I learned I have 2 notes apps on my phone. I don't know why, but I do. Because I was like, oh fuck me. I gotta let them know I'm sunk. And then like a little bit later, I was like, oh no, never mind. I'm an idiot. I had 2 notes apps. So the deal here is we're going to fantasy book a theoretical holiday 1995 WWF game released on the PlayStation, Saturn, Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, and because I'm a crazy person, I also fantasy booked a Game Boy version.
Shame
Let's be honest,
no one took up doing like mock-ups and stuff, because that'd have been like really crazy to see.
yeah. I mean, it's a lot of work for no
Yeah,
money.
of course.
It's
Yeah.
really just a bit, but yeah, it would have been neat. So like we had speculated or postulated we were going to call this like In Your House. I think just given that this game realistically would have gone into development sometime in late 1994, Action Zone was a brand new television show.
That's
I
good.
think
Yeah.
they might have tried it because the more I thought about In Your House, I was like, that makes more sense because this is an arcade style game you play in your house. So it
Mhm.
makes sense for the game that we got. And In Your House was like something they were really pushing in 1996. For 95, I came down on either Survivor Series or Action Zone, and I don't think they were going to name a game after the fucking Survivor Series. They eventually did. It was all
So it's a
right.
pretty good title for a game anyway. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So my idea for the cover is you do like, because you can't do the Raw cover again, and that's like one of the most iconic wrestling game covers ever. It's fucking awesome. My thought is you do like what EA Sports would do, where it's like a solid white background, big Action Zone logo, and then an action shot of like Diesel or something,
Right.
because he's the
Okay.
guy. Um, so in theory, releases holiday '95. I've got a roster. Do you have one in mind, or do you just want me to ramble my bullshit off?
I have a few people in mind, but let's go for yours and we'll see. We'll see how we go with it.
Okay, so I was saying this to LB before we started recording. They 100% would have done console exclusives for the at the time next gen versions. So I'll lead off with the guys that are in both the 32-bit and 16-bit versions first. So we've got Diesel, Bret Hart, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, Owen Hart, Lex Luger, British Bulldog, Yokozuna, Jeff Jarrett, 1-2-3 Kid, Bam Bam Bigelow, Jerry Lawler, and Bob Backlund.
So,
Then, oh, go on.
do you have an idea? This is going maybe too far, but like a release time frame.
My idea is like November, because I want to say November is when Mania the arcade game hit for the next gen consoles. My
So
roster cutoff idea is March.
okay, so you could do like the Allied Powers, Luger and Bulldog, and Luger would be in WCW by release, right?
At the time. Yeah.
So that's one of those cases, just one of those weird cases where Russell's left the company and ends up in the video game. Okay,
And Bammer would be gone too.
yeah, that's right.
And I think Backlund would be off TV by that point as well. And then if you had a Saturn or a PlayStation, you would get all of those guys plus Hakushi, Psycho Sid, Kama, Men on a Mission, and Atom Bomb. Because I'm not going
Okay,
to not let the Atom Bomb thing live on.
yeah, yeah.
And then the Game Boy version, being the Junior Baby Son of a Bitch version, you would get Diesel, Bret Hart, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, Yokozuna, Lex Luger, and Jeff Jarrett.
That
And that's
works.
it.
Yeah.
That's all I got for the roster. Who did you have? Am I missing anybody?
Well, I was just working off what you said. I'm trying to think who else would be on there. See, I'm thinking
Like
about
I
like
thought about Bundy,
yeah,
but
because I'm thinking about WrestleMania 11, right?
yeah, like I had Bundy in the comma spot, but I feel like they got like they decided fuck Bundy really early, and comma was Taker's buddy.
Oh, yeah.
So
I mean, even if you think about WrestleMania 11, it was wasn't it? Was it? Had he melted the? Had Kama melted the urn down at that point? I can't remember.
no, that's when he steals the urn.
He steals it. So even at the end, like the focus is Kama, not Bundy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I had to put Hakushi in just because like it's my fucking idea. Like I want him in the game.
Did you mention the smoking guns?
No, I thought about them, but like I had them in place of Men on a Mission. And then I
Okay.
thought realistically who Vince would have put like if the roster approvals got to Vince, because the story with THQ was always Vince actually had the final say. He was like
Right.
that hands on with the roster. I feel like he would just be like fucking goddamn pal, but Men on a Mission.
Yeah. Yeah.
I so it could go either way, but also like when you look at how 95 plays out, I feel like somebody in the licensing department in the WWF would take a victory lap approving Men on a Mission in that game, just because you're King of the Ring and SummerSlam. And Mabel work Undertaker on Season's Beatings? So like, I'd rather have the guns. I'll say that, but I feel like realistically, we would have put Men on a Mission.
Yeah.
Or there's been a lot of Billy Gunn discourse on Twitter lately, and I'm so glad I'm not
Oh
fucking privy to
God.
it. Um, so for match types, these are going to be uniform across both versions because I think they could have made all of this work on both. Um, so you have singles matches, you have standard, cage, and because this was a big deal at Mania 10, falls count anywhere. Tag matches, you have standard and falls count anywhere. 6-man tag, standard, falls count anywhere. 4-on-4, you have standard and Survivor Series, and then you have the Royal Rumble match.
Now,
because
excuse me.
I don't think they could have made a ladder match work. I had the idea for it, but I was like, "There's no fucking way this is working on a 16-bit game."
So on 16-bit, do you have like when you're talking about like 4-on-4? Do you have 8 characters on the screen at once, or is it a case where you like press select and it switches the character?
It's the deal from the previous 16-bit games where you just cycle
Yeah.
through.
Right. Okay.
But on PS1 and Saturn, because these wouldn't be like super big sprites, like I think you could probably it would. What I'm saying, I guess, is it wouldn't choke the PlayStation's limited RAM to have 8 dudes on screen at once.
Yeah.
Because
Do
like,
you do you
oh
think
god,
based on Rage in the Cage that they would have a cage match?
I think so because like that was just a hook to sell the CD game. There's nothing
Absolutely.
that says that like that game couldn't have been done on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, pretty much.
And also, like, I think there might have been a push from the WWF, like, hey, we just had the one at SummerSlam. Can the next game have one?
Yeah, there's really no other match types at the time that would have that's really missing. You know, they weren't doing
Yeah,
anything
like,
super crazy at the time or anything.
and I don't think a ladder match could work. I don't see a way you
You-
make that work
that's a
in
tough
like
one
an
to picture.
early. Yeah, like I remember the rumors that No Mercy for Game Boy was supposed to have one, and that was one of the fabled screenshots that no longer exists, and I
Mm,
never really bought that.
no.
Um, So uniform gameplay notes, the idle stances that were supposed to be in Raw, everybody's got them across the 2 console versions. Just because I think that's cool and it gives each character a little bit of personality. Double team grapple moves. So like, if in a tag match, if you and your partner press the grapple button at the same time, it'll be like a double suplex or something.
Hmm.
Nothing crazy. Like there's not gonna be like a double power bomb. Nobody was really doing cool
No.
shit like that. Um,
Maybe like the head trickers were doing stuff like that. I can't remember.
Oh, like the pop up like face buster and shit. Yeah. Yeah, they
Yeah.
were trying to kill people. In the corner, if you press the grapple button, some characters would be able to do like a superplex, others would just do the shoulder thrust. You would have that in addition to the 10 punch that was introduced in Raw.
Right, that makes sense.
Taunts, so like if you press the select button, each character has like their signature pose. Because
Okay.
I that's something that would be that you could implement. I mean, Fire Pro had it, for God's sake.
Uh,
Um
I mean, they sort of added them to the special moves, right? Like you had Luger flexing after hitting the elbow, and Yokozuna would do like his dance and stuff, right? So it makes sense to have them as their own separate button.
Right. Stats returned from Raw, so like all of the like height or the weight, power, speed, stamina, blah blah blah. There's a new focus on weight class specific move sets, so like not everybody's gonna have like the Steiner screwdriver looking move. That's just gonna be like the Diesel, Undertaker, Razor, Sid type guys.
Hmm.
Like the Yoko and Bam Bam types would have like the belly to belly suplex and like the really like heavy moves.
Yeah.
Um, where am I here? Each version has a different ending when you complete the title mode. In the PlayStation One, just flexing the power of like FMVs, you would get Todd Pettengill in like the edit one or whatever the fuck, talking about like, "Hey, Diesel won the WWF Championship" or whatever. And then in the 16-bit game, it would just be like a still image of Todd with like congratulations or whatever the fuck. Because
Yeah.
I never liked in Raw, like it would just pan up and there would be like the pyro because like what the fuck. That's such a lame ending after Royal Rumble where Finkel comes in with the belt and you get the magazine cover.
Yeah, I was thinking is just like Todd replace Finkel in that sort of ending where he's the one that comes into the ring at the end.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it, honestly.
Yeah.
Game modes, you have Exhibition. The Saturn and PlayStation have a season mode. I'll elaborate on that in a moment. Genesis and Super Nintendo have the Championship mode, which is just the standard beat everyone, win the game. And then the King of the Ring tournament makes its return from the King of the Ring NES game. Um, so in terms of the visuals, I alluded to this when we were talking about this. like initially just as a concept. On the PlayStation Saturn, you would get pre-rendered 3D models turned into sprites for everybody in the game. Because I don't think Ukes did a fully polygonal wrestling game in 1995, but it was also singles matches only. And I think doing the game the way I'm proposing it, it would be able to run a little bit faster than Tokon. Not that I'm trying to like, not that this would be a realistic game like Tokon, but like Raw had like a certain level of speed that I think people would expect carried over for the next console game.
Right, yeah.
The arenas would be more detailed because I do have the idea of putting specific arenas in the 32-bit game specifically. We've got, and to an extent, this would just be like a texture swap on the ring skirts, maybe a different background. But you've got Raw, Action Zone, and then the 5 pay-per-views. And the reason I don't include In Your House is like the cutoff for everything would be like March.
Mm-hmm.
So season mode, you select a character, and this is basically just the attitude season mode where it's beat 10 guys, win the IC title, defend it 3 times. Beat 10 guys, win the WWF title, defend it 3 times. Congratulations, you've won. Except here, winning the title at the end, you would unlock Psycho Sid and the ability to edit and save wrestler stats, which I just realized is something I took from Thunder on that inland shit, baby. So like, if you beat the game, I think Sid's a really cool reward because it's fucking Sid, and everybody would be like, there's not a single person alive that would play through this game and not be jacked to have Psycho Sid as a playable character at the end.
That'd be cool if you get like a Sid FMV at the end. Just like maybe like I can imagine just like an entrance video, and it's like you've unlocked Psycho Sid and his theme plays and the video plays, and it's like that's cool as shit.
I was thinking he'd be the final boss, and you would get like his like little Titantron video.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
like
something like that.
Like you get to the end and like, you know, like in Raw, like they kind of save the Quang reveal until you're like 1 or 2 matches from the top. It would just be a
Yeah.
question mark box, and then once you get to that, it would load the Sid thing, and then you're in the match with Sid. That's like kind of my idea for how that would work. So on a new system, we're going to change the way the game works. The button mashing grapples are gone on PlayStation and Saturn, and I have a good idea for how this would work. You have a grapple button, a punch and a kick button, and a run button, so there's nothing new there. When you press the grapple button, if you beat your opponent to the punch, you've won the grapple, and then you get your square, X, and circle buttons. This is going to sound familiar. You press one of them in a direction, and you get a different move. So it would be like square, neutral, and then up and down square would be one move, and then left and right square would be another move. So you'd have like 9 grapple moves from the front, plus your finisher. The grapples can be interrupted by a punch or a kick. And when you're in the grapple, your opponent can like press the L1 or R1 button. It doesn't, I think I actually have R1. Yeah, it's R1. R1 would be the reversal. If you manage to time it right, you'll just like kick the opponent in the gut, and the grapple like goes away, and you kind of reset neutral. I think this is something you could carry over into a fully 3D game a couple of years down the line, instead of grapple, Mortal Kombat fatality input, and you do a vertical suplex. I think this just makes more sense.
Yeah, anything would make more sense than that.
Fair. I also think people would probably, because I've read the reviews of those old WWF games in the magazines. People hated the fucking button mashing shit by the time you got to Raw. So I think the 16-bit games would probably get beat to shit in reviews because they didn't have this. But I also think the combination of like next gen quote unquote visuals, new gameplay, better sound, I think this would be like a complete package that people would be like really fucking hyped about. And also, I have commentary question mark. I wouldn't be opposed to background music, but I feel like this was the first time people were pushing for like realism in sports games. I think you would have had the crowd noise, and you might have been able to get like Vince and Todd in the booth to record a few lines.
Yeah, I could say there'd been like minimal commentary, just like lines here and there. Obviously, not like a full match or anything. Excuse me.
No.
This is about the sickness start. That's something I was going to ask. Actually, like, what commentators would you have at ringside, and would it differ by console, like it did for Raw? Actually, had that, yeah, different commentators based on what the system was.
So I had the idea that the 16-bit ones you would always have Vince and Todd at ringside, and the reason I have the question mark next to it for the 32-bit games was I thought maybe you could swap in like Lawler with Vince, and Lawler
Mhm.
could have a few voice lines in the game, but I don't know how much disk space we're using with my bullshit ideas at this point. But that would be my idea. I think Todd, just because he's like the central figure around the endings of the two, like the single player mode in both games,
Yeah,
I think he
makes
makes a
sense.
little bit of sense. I did have the idea, jokingly, like Todd Pettengill being the final boss, but I'm the only person that would find it funny. So we're just sticking with Sid.
Do you have managers?
So I do have noted that Mr. Fuji would be in the game,
Mm-hmm.
and he's the only
DiBiase?
manager I had listed.
Okay.
I did not have DiBiase listed, but that's a good idea. I didn't have any fleshed out ideas for the managers. I would, when we were going to record this last week, I think I'd come up with like the idea of the managers would be outside the ring. If your opponent gets thrown outside, the manager could like attack them, and then after a couple of times, the ref would be like, "Get the fuck out." Because if you
Yeah.
punch the ref a bunch, the ref just says "fuck this." So there's like some AI to the ref in the previous 16-bit games.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite animations in those games is the ref just saying, putting his hands up and then leaving the ring. It's great.
Yeah. So like I think you could have like Fuji and Ted outside the ring, and if somebody gets thrown out, like Fuji could have like I wouldn't give them grapple moves, but like punch and kick.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they get thrown out, then obviously they're not at ringside anymore, and it just kind of resets to a regular match. Would be how I'd handle it.
Maybe like Fuji throws salt.
I was thinking about that too instead of like punch. Like he throws the salt, and that's like the one time like he doesn't get to do anything else. Like the ref immediately throws him out, but like the way I look at it potentially is like it would chunk a big piece of your health meter to get hit with the
All right.
salt.
Yeah.
This sounds like a much better wrestling game than anything Acclaim put out until like fucking Legends of Wrestling 2, by the way.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so like yeah, you have like all of this. I don't know. The Saturn might not be able to do everything I'm describing as well as the PlayStation, but I feel like since everything's technically it's 3D but flattened out into 2D sprites. That's something the Saturn really excelled with. So maybe the Saturn version might perform a little bit better. Um, on the select screen, obviously you get like we'll say like 15 to 20 second CD quality entrance music for everybody. On the 32-bit systems, you get the MIDIs. I don't know what the fuck you get Bob Backlund actually. Probably just the Action Zone theme
Yeah.
would
Or
be
you
my
give him
best
girls and
guess.
cars.
Yeah, well, the CD version, I don't know
That's true.
Jimmy Hart might be a little bit mad about that. But yeah, like I think this sounds way better than what we actually got. And I've had ideas for like specific attires for guys. Like Razor would still be in green, like maybe the arcade game. Diesel would have the silver tank top. Brett would be like the fucking like uh pink tank top, black tights. Sean would be basically in like the Rumble 95 gear. Obviously Taker would be in purple with like since the model would be a little bit more detailed than the sprite work of like Raw, you'd be able to like visibly see tattoos. I'm really sad this game doesn't actually exist because it would be if this game dropped as I'm describing it, it would be one of my favorite wrestling games of all time. Um, oh, and then the Game Boy version is just those 8 guys that I mentioned earlier, and you have the beat everybody, win the title mode, single match, tag match. It would be a complete just fucking shove it out the door game.
Yeah.
Like the 16-bit games would obviously have a bit more effort than just being raw with like idle stances and stuff, but like the marketing push would be around the PS1 and Saturn version. You'd have like the commercial with like Diesel. Like how they did the Superstars intro in like 94 where it was like the weird lighting and like the shots of people wrestling, but it's not actually like a live event looking kind of
Yeah.
thing. I envision Diesel doing like the elbow in the corner, spliced with like a clip of him doing it in the game, the big boot with him doing it in the game, the jackknife with him doing it in the game. I don't have like a corny acclaim level slogan for Action Zone, but like the marketing would be centered around Diesel right around the time he loses the fucking title.
For some reason, I have an idea of like a commercial in like a Chuck E. Cheese environment, but then with wrestlers and all shit goes to crazy, just because of the title Action Zone. Like I think it's something like that and like laser tag and shit. I don't know.
Honestly, with the WWF at that point, that sounds way more realistic than what I'm pitching. I just, yeah, this would be a really cool thing if it existed, but sadly it doesn't. And I almost at some point. Oh, and I should also know. I said it to you. It was crazy they uploaded that Montreal house show from '94 like the week we were going to record this originally.
Yeah,
Somebody at the vault's tapping my fucking calls. That's all I'm saying.
man, there might be.
Because
But
I
I
was
was
watching a bunch of Yoko stuff recently, and they randomly threw up a Shawn and Yoko match from '96, and I was like, "Huh,
yeah, I saw that as
interesting."
well. I was thinking about too, like not necessarily games that like didn't exist, but like what if scenarios, like something that I think we talked about a long time ago was like, what if Jesse Ventura's Wrestling Superstars was released? What if that actually came out? Like, how would that change things? And I was just thinking about like before, what if X Premium was released in outside of Japan? Like, how would that have changed things? I think that would have been like a big hit at the time, at least for as far as wrestling games go.
I think X Premium would have gotten a lot of play in like Game Fan because I remember them really hyping up Six Men Scramble.
Yeah,
The magazines that had like the dedicated import sections would have praised it to high heaven. I don't know how. You know what? Next Generation, because they always had really weird, fucking, sort of pretentious takes. I think Next Generation probably would have gushed about it too. I just don't know when it gets to like EGM and Game, like how they would have handled it. And because those magazines carried a lot of fucking weight with people in the
mm.
'90s. I mean, I would have wanted it because it was a wrestling game.
Yeah. I think it would have been if they had kept, if they could have kept like the appearances and stuff. I think that would have been like blown people's minds back then, because you had games around that time that sort of like played with the appearance of WWF wrestlers and stuff, but nothing was like they kept them from looking like exactly who they're supposed to be, as opposed to X Premium, which I mean that's them, right? So I think that would have been like a huge deal to people. It would, like for myself when I first saw Six Man Scramble or G, I can't remember which one it was in a magazine, and saw like Bret Hart in the ring with the Steiners and like Vader and stuff, and I was like, holy shit, what is this? How are they in the ring together? I think on the Super Nintendo that would have been pretty nuts to see at the time.
Oh yeah, and I in the similar vein, I remember seeing the screenshot of like Rock and Hulk Hogan and like Game Boy Advance Fire Pro and be like, "Wow, that's nutty.
Yeah, that was
How is this
the
happening?"
yeah, that was the big thing about it. Obviously, is because like those are dream scenarios, right? And Fire Pro was the only place you could do that, except for if your game had a create mode. But like, uh, good luck with that in like the Super Nintendo era, right? Except for Fire Pro, right? So yeah, that would have been a huge deal to people at that time, I feel.
Yeah, I almost at one point fucking was just like, "Hey, do you want a fantasy book? This is a WCW game instead." But I didn't want to deter from like the original idea. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like, also like this roster was brutal to try to put together. Once you get past like the very tip top of the WWF roster, and you've got to like actually with a straight face go, no, I'm putting men on a mission and Bob Backlund in this game. Like I love Bob Backlund, but god damn.
it's also an awkward time frame because you're talking about like it's before things change, right? And you don't have people in there like Mankind and Vader and stuff, right?
Right. See, I could fantasy book the sequel that would drop holiday 96 with an April 96 fucking cutoff, and the roster would be. I don't care that they wouldn't have put Ringmaster in a game. Ringmaster would be in my theoretical 96 game.
Yeah.
And Vader would be
Savio,
too. Yeah. Like the roster gets
Warrior.
so better. For fucking sure.
Yeah.
You fucking know it. Warrior would be on the cover of that shit if I had the fucking final say. I don't care that he's been. What do you mean, Vince? He's been gone for 3 months. I don't give a fuck. He is on the cover. Fuck
You would
you.
get
I would be fired from Acclaim.
you would get like a mini copy of the magazine or his comic book along with the instruction manual.
No, on the back of the manual, you get an advertisement for the Warrior video game
Or the
that
Warrior
never comes out.
University, yeah. What would a Warrior video game look like? Would it look be like Kiss Psycho Circus or something like that?
So I remember around the time that the Ringside Collectible shoot came out, he mentioned that he really liked working with Acclaim and he had had discussions with them about doing other stuff. And somebody, and it might have just been somebody jacking off, but somebody was like, yeah, they had an Ultimate Warrior game planned. And my idiot brain always went to, oh, it was just going to be God of Warrior.
I just
Yeah,
picture
I'm not
like
sure.
an early to mid like PS1 title with like I don't know how to describe it, but like very just it looks very PS1. With like Warrior like walking around with like a big ass gun or something and like a cheesy hard rock soundtrack, That's
So
that's
like
how
the
I
Duke
view a
Nukem
Warrior game.
games.
Well, I brought up Kiss Psycho Circus. That's sort of what I was thinking of. You remember that Bruce Willis game?
The one that they turned into Tony Hawk?
Yeah, like something similar to that, or something just very over the top. There was a on Giant Bomb on Blight Club right now. They're playing this. God, what console is it? Um, Shit, I can't remember what console they're playing, but it's this really. It's like a 3D. I'm doing a really bad job at describing this. Virtuoso they're playing, and it's like this dude in like a biker jacket and sunglasses and long blonde hair, and he's like in the middle of the screen, and he's like shooting um aliens and all these creatures that come towards him, and it's got like this cheesy rock soundtrack, but he's sort of like he's like a digitalized actor, like in the style of like the WrestleMania the arcade game or like Revolution X or whatever, but everything else is video game graphics and not a real person. But with Wario, I'm thinking that he would be like a video game as well and not an actual person. But I think something like that. Um, God, what system was that on? I'm gonna have to look it up now. Is it the 32X? Let me see. It's 3DO. Sorry, yeah, it was on the 3DO. It looks real bad. It is real bad.
It sounds about right. Yeah, the 3DO was not.
Yeah, I'm just like picturing that with Wario in his place because like it's just like this corny rock music and Wario blasting at Santa Claus or some shit. I think that'd be hilarious and right up his alley.
Yeah, yeah, probably. I. The only things I know about the 3DO, honestly, are like the legendarily bad Doom port, that one Royal Pro Wrestling game, and then it has that one weird like Madden game.
Yeah, I played a little bit of the 3DO very briefly when I was in the UK, and I just remember Need for Speed on that.
I don't think I ever knew that. There's an Ali game on there too. That's like the precursor to Knockout Kings. And I remember seeing gameplay footage of it once. It kind of looked like shit.
Yeah, not surprising.
Is it called Foes of Ali? Does that sound right?
Nice title. That's something different anyway.
I think that's what it was like Foes of Ali. All I know is I saw gameplay of that once, and I went Greatest Heavyweights for the Genesis. Looks about 9 million times better.
Yeah.
That game is amazing. That's my
What was
favorite
the
boxing
version of
game.
that for Super Nintendo?
Greatest Heavyweights?
Was it Greatest Heavyweights? There's a game on
No,
Genesis.
Greatest Heavyweights is a Genesis exclusive, but I think one of the Boxing Legends of the Ring game is made by the same developer because it's got like kind of the same camera perspective.
Yeah, there's one game on the Genesis, and there's like a game on the Super Nintendo that's no. This is it, dude. Like this is yeah. It's not Greatest Heavyweights, but you're right. They must be the same developer because it looks uh very much the same. Where you've got like the body and like the head and the bar at the bottom. Um, the main difference is that Greatest Heavyweights, the character models look more realistic, and the Super Nintendo game they're more like stylized.
Okay, so it's not Boxing Legends of the Ring because I just looked that up, and that game looks a lot like fucking what is it called, Foreman for Real,
Is it
like a much better graphically version of,
Riddick?
or much
Rid-
better version.
is it Riddick Bull Boxing?
Uh,
Yes.
so Greatest Heavyweights originally comes out as Evander Holyfield's Real Deal Boxing. That's like the first game in the Genesis series. And I don't know.
Because the Riddick Bowl one was the one I played, and I remember like loving that as a kid.
Yeah, Riddick
Yeah,
Boat Boxing looks very, very similar. It's just, as you said, a little bit more stylized.
yeah, you've got the torso on the bottom of the screen, and you've got the head, and then you've got like the view of the ring up top on both of them, the Genesis and the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If these aren't made by the same developer, I'd be very shocked because that's like direct copying somebody's homework.
yeah. Riddick Bowl was cool because you could like you created your own character, and like the boxes would like taunt you and stuff. It was a cool game.
Yeah, you did the same thing in the Evander Holyfield game, and you could create the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, nice.
Let me take a look at this now. Because now I'm curious if it was developed by the same team.
So
Developed by Malibu Interactive.
that's just the Game Gear version, right? Oh no, sorry, it was Micronet that did that. And Greatest Heavyweights was by Acme Interactive.
Hmm.
So did they just like straight up just like copy it?
No, Acme Interactive was Malibu Interactive.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
So now it adds up why the two games look so similar.
Yep.
Oh god, Greatest Heavyweights is such a fucking great game. You get like all the licensed guys, and then you get all the guys they couldn't license. So there's a fake Mike Tyson.
I'll have to try it out.
It's such a fucking fun game. The Holyfield game's cool too, but like Greatest Heavyweights is just better.
Yeah.
Anything to not talk about the 2K news, honestly.
Well, what are some other what if scenarios? Like, I know recently you've been talking about playing like the sports games on like the PS1 and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have and I like see here's the thing about like that period and like PS2 is that except for like the big names, I don't really know like a lot of studios around that time frame. And the one thing I was thinking of is like if Acclaim when coming up with Legends of Wrestling, is there like one of the developers from like the sports games that they could have put towards that would have been better suited? Like I don't know what exactly was around at that time, but I was just thinking like based on gameplay, is there like any other sports games that would have worked better for like a Legends of Wrestling game other than what they went with, you know? Like
Did
based on
Acclaim
like
ever have Iguana Entertainment make a wrestling game? Because I feel like I
that's a
don't
good
remember
question.
if Iguana is sculptured software. No, they have to be different. Iguana has to be different than Sculpture Software, because that became Acclaim Salt Lake City, and that's the team that fucking Iguana Entertainment. Oh, Iguana was the team that went on to make All Star Baseball, which is the team that went on to make Showdown. So
Oh, okay. Oh, they made Batman Forever, the arcade game.
yeah, the PlayStation and Saturn version.
We should have known.
I mean, they also made the Quarterback Club games and Turok and like NHL Breakaway. They made good games, just not good wrestling games.
Well, yeah. Well, maybe if they started off, who was the original developer of Legends of Wrestling? What team was that?
Sculptured Software.
Oh, okay, it was them.
Yeah,
Well, maybe if
Acclaim did not
Iguana,
have anybody in house that could do it. Honestly,
what would Iguana have done if they had started from the beginning instead of taking over with Showdown? I wonder.
I
It's hard to
wonder,
say.
like, because well, you got to remember the Dev Diaries tell the tale. Like, the Iguana team were people that had not watched wrestling since the 80s. And when Showdown got dropped in their lap, they went to like a fucking SmackDown taping.
Yeah.
And they were just like, huh?
Yeah,
This is wrestling?
specifically remember them talking about like the Bashrams and Shaniqua, and them talking about like having like Road Warrior posters on their walls at that point and stuff. And I remember they were was it like wrestling classics or kayfabe memories or something like that. They were posting on there, and there was like people that were really buying into those dev diaries. And the game came out, and I was like, "This is shit." And there was people like, "Whoa, you guys did it!" And this, and I was like, "What is happening?" Um, but
I
yeah,
think they were screwed from the start with Showdown because
oh yeah,
they got handed, because the Dev Diaries talk about it, they got handed all of the code from the Salt Lake City team and had no clue what the fuck any of it meant.
yeah.
And
I
like they
mean,
had to bring on a couple of people from the Salt Lake City team to kind of make sense of it. And then somebody at Acclaim was like, somebody at that studio was like, none of this makes any fucking sense. Let's make this a little more user friendly.
yeah, and
And
from that perspective, it's like they tried to do something, but like it
yeah,
was,
they didn't have
it,
the time, budget, or understanding.
and trying to,
That was the best game they could have made.
yeah, and trying to do something a bit different and new, it felt like it was broke even more in some ways. Um,
Yeah,
the only option, the real option was to build it from the ground up, but they weren't going to do that, obviously. So
they didn't have the time or the money. Acclaim was running out of money fast.
yeah, exactly. Though they somehow got the license for all those arenas, which still I find fascinating.
Yeah, well, that's also part of why they were running out of money so fast. Because
Yeah.
listening to the Between the Sheets ECW on TNN thing, Acclaim was like entering into financial trouble when the ECW deal happened.
Hmm.
And you think about it, they were still paying for the NFL license for what, 3 games after that? They were still paying for the Major League Baseball license up until the end. I think they did one last NBA Jam game in like 02, 03. Those licenses aren't fucking cheap, especially when you're not selling like that many games. But I think
Yeah.
if Iguana could have been handed, like if somebody would have just handed Iguana, like, hey, in like 2000, like, hey, Salt Lake City, we're going to let you guys fucking do something else. We're going
Hmm.
to have the team in Austin do something. And just instead of being like, hey, go look at some contemporary wrestling to see what the people are going for now. If these were all people that watched wrestling in the 80s, be like, hey, do you guys want to make a game with the Road Warriors and Hulk Hogan? The answer is
Yeah.
probably yeah. And then at
Yeah.
that point, and this is me, just crazy fucking man, I would have been like, here are the top selling wrestling games as of last year, which would have been SmackDown and No Mercy. I would have been like, play them, figure it out. And then, and here's the thing, if they made like some sort of like shitty 2-headed mutant bastard child of SmackDown in the Aki games, it still would have been light years better than what we got.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like a shitty No Mercy clone that like doesn't even a shitty No Mercy clone that completely misses the point of why that game is good and maybe borrow some stuff from fucking SmackDown 2 would still smoke everything Acclaim ever made.
Yeah.
I think Iguana could have done it, but like if memory serves correctly, they get handed the shit for Showdown like halfway through that game's development because they shuttered the Salt Lake City studio. So they were trying to juggle like All-Star Baseball and that game. And I think there was like another game in development too.
Good
It was
God.
it was never gonna fucking work.
No.
My actual thing would have been if somebody at Acclaim would have heard like, hey, the guys that just made those N64 games want to make a PS2 game. I would have, obviously meaning Aki. I would have been fucking. I would have been on the phone to anybody that knew anything about how to get in contact with them. Like
Yeah.
y'all want to make a game with Hulk Hogan? They probably would have been like, yeah. You want to make a game with the Road Warriors? Yeah, you do. Cool. And then
Yeah.
obviously the third idea is somebody shows them Fire Pro Wrestling and they're like, hey, here's all the money we don't have. Do what you're doing with better graphics so we can sell some games in America.
Mm. Oh, yeah. It's another what could have been, things could have been better. I was just thinking of is like, what if instead of another shitty version of Attitude, like what if the ECW game, the first one, was developed by Inland?
Oh my god. Can you fucking like all the voice clips when people are getting beat up in that
Yeah.
game? Can you imagine what the rants would have been like in the oh my god. Oh dude, the Tommy Rich rant would be like they would put the Thunder rants to shame. You think Kevin Nash didn't give a fuck? Oh god, imagine the Danny Doring one. Because he didn't give a fuck either at that point. He thought the whole thing was bullshit. Roadkill? Chickens. Oh my dude, yeah. You know what? Honestly, Inland matches the spirit of ECW more than fucking Acclaim ever did.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Jesus, yeah, dude. Imagine Paulie railing a fucking line and eating a meatball sub and seeing gameplay footage of that shit for the first fucking time. Oh my god.
They would have had to keep in like the disco arena or whatever, and had like the ECW characters doing that, of course.
Dude, can you imagine how much more pissed the ECW fan base would have been by that game than they were by the Acclaim
It would have been beautiful.
Fuck man, dude, this is the game I wish we would have gotten. Another what if, honestly. What if instead of trying to go fully polygonal, Human got the Human was like, hey, why don't we do what that Jikyo Power Pro Wrestling game did and just have 3D guys, but the game still stays 2D? Honestly, I'm more shocked that they didn't do that for Six Men Scramble than I am that they thought Iron Slam 96 was a good idea. Because, like, you could have, like, graphically, let's be honest, Six Men Scramble doesn't really look better than X Premium. But they're, like, I'm shocked they didn't just go, here's what a next gen wrestling game looks like, and we're going to fucking crudely model these fuckers. And, yeah.
Yeah,
Six Men Scramble is still an amazing game, though.
I think they were just stuck in their way, sort of. Like, when they developed Iron Slam, they were like, oh, fuck, let's never do 3D again, or at least for a long time. And they, I think they were just, like, stuck in their ways at that point. They're just like, let's stick to this, because this is what we know.
And that game's not even that bad. We talked about it when we reviewed it. That game has a weirdly undeserved reputation.
The thing is, too, is that, Fire Pro is known for its big rosters and obviously in its style, and you put the Fire Pro name on something and people expect something great. I mean, look at the goddamn Avatar game, right? And
I don't know what you're talking about with an Avatar game.
I'm not talking about Avatar Pro Wrestling. That's something different. There's two of those. Can you believe it? Oh, there was Hulk Hogan's main event wrestling. I think they used avatars as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but that was like a Kinect game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody played that fucking thing. At least I hope they didn't.
Yeah, that. Did you see Hogan at the Rumble?
No, I didn't see anything from the Rumble. Honestly, I didn't watch.
Oh, he looked a bit different. I think they called him La Parka or something like that.
Well, Hulk Hogan is dead.
Hence being a skeleton.
He spends all of his time at the beach, and then the community note was like, no, actually, he spends all his time at the cemetery.
Yeah, dead. I saw that. That's crazy. Community notes is the best part of that place now. Yeah, I saw the women's and men's. It was horrible. I had it on as like background noise because like I'm not doing anything other than I like to have something on in the background while I'm doing something else, and it was real bad, really bad.
Yeah, yeah, I could have. I heard Roman won. I heard that they did
Oh
the NXT 2014 thing where it said Powerhouse Hobbs on the screen before they showed like his WWE name.
yeah, that's yeah. They did that with like Balor, and they did that with Kenta, Oscar. Um, it's real strange because it's just like Powerhouse Hobbs is a way better name. So you look at that name and it's like that's a cool name, and it's like no, we're gonna call him Royce Keys. Isn't that a great name? Like no.
Yeah, I don't fucking. I read the thing in the Observer that he got offered more money than anybody was making in AEW year one except for Jericho, and he didn't. He didn't want to stay. So
It
hopefully, I mean, it's gonna be crazy when Magic Omos gets to do him in the defining moments line.
yeah.
Just his little line of like guys he already did AEW figures for.
It's funny because you hear the same thing about Rusev, and I missed his part in the Rumble, but I guess he was in for like 1 minute, and then Phoenix came in and like not immediately, but was like straight away F5'd and then thrown out within like a minute, and it's just like, well, you wanted to be here you are, and you're making less money, but I hope it's worth it.
We don't know if those guys are. The Lucha Brothers might have gotten,
Might
but
have got what?
yeah, a big offer, like big money.
Ah, maybe. But I hope Phoenix posts a picture of him in a straight jacket again soon. That'll be fun.
Oh God, I don't know who the fuck that product is for. Similarly, I guess we can talk video games and figures and the miscellaneous bullshit, but like I don't know who this WWE game is for. They're touting 400 characters. So it looks like all the stuff Mike Straw said he didn't say in the Insider Gaming Discord is shit he actually did say. 200 creator wrestler slots, 400 character roster, draft in universe. That's all stuff. It was alleged he said in the Discord, and he claimed it was like not true that he said it. And then he took a victory lap for all of it.
Weird. Um,
Yeah, it's Mike Straw.
I'll tell you who it's for. It's for YouTubers who think they're gonna monetize all this bullshit that they do and on Twitter, and they're the ones that I see that are hyped for it the most. You know, like these accounts that really seem to want a press badge and an invite to these 2K things that are really all over it. Um, and then there's other people that are like, I've pre-ordered the Monday Night Wars edition, and it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
So I said it to you. The fire effects in the Inferno match in that trailer look god awful.
They've always been pretty bad, yeah.
No, I mean like this is clearly just like a 2D effect. There's like no depth to it at all. It looks really, really fucking bad. Um, I'm gonna pull the trailer up again just so I can speak on some things specifically. The Observer website's being a complete piece of shit to me right now.
It's funny to me too because like this was the Inferno match was actually modded into 2K25, and I played a little bit of it. Mine ended in with First Blood, and I maybe there was something I was doing wrong, and there's another way to end the match. But anyway, it's like it was in the games previously, and those matches were never really fun. Like, who's asking for these match types back, and why? Like, it's just I don't know.
Oh my god, they put up the Battle of the Superstars Coliseum video on the Vault page. All right, let me get my bag real quick. This is the one that has the Dusty vignettes. It also has a really good like Ted DiBiase and Jake Roberts match. This is one of my favorite Coliseum videos of all time. I actually own it on Betamax, I'm pretty sure. Great fucking tape. I just wanted to say.
Hmm?
I just had to let everybody know about Battle of the Superstars. I didn't like the Inferno match when it was introduced in SVR 9. I also didn't understand why it was introduced in SVR 9.
It's just
Just
yeah, the shit's like not fun at all. I was like, they were, people freaking out a few weeks ago. It was like, oh, they've added I Quit matches and a dumpster match and all this shit. I'm like, what if they made cage matches better?
So in the trailer, they're really using that Raw O2 arena that now has the correct color ring posts.
I think
They're
there's
really
more.
proud of that fucking thing.
I think there's more changes to that. I might be wrong, but there's like that little. It sort of looks like the Livewire logo or something like above the stage, like at the very top. I think they added that. Though again, I could be wrong. I didn't really play as the Raw 2 arena too much.
So we've got 99 Ministry Undertaker. We've got 98 Kane. Wait a minute. Does his mouth open with the mask in this fucking game? Is that problem from the SVR 2011 Make Good DLC back?
Yep.
Oh my god, why? It's a mask. That's not his fucking face.
That was something that Creation pointed out on Twitter. Is like, why is this face paint and not a mask? Because that's what it looks like basically.
Dumpster match appears to be a clone of the casket match. Obviously CM Punk's the showcase guy. Armageddon 08 is in. Him and Rey Mysterio had a good match on that show. I don't know if I would still think it's good. Oh yeah. Yeah, quote unquote dark match Punk, even though he's got the blonde hair. So I'm assuming that Punk is in one of the What If matches.
Yeah. Maybe they'll throw in like Indie Arena and it's like Punk versus their model of like 97 Eddie Guerrero or something.
Maybe, but Punk's also spoken like publicly about how he worked Eddie, and I took the thing of like guys he never got to work as like literal. Maybe they will do something with Eddie, and they'll just pretend like the ICW match never happened.
Well, I was thinking more like this is the start of his career and like the showcase, and it's like here's when he wrestled Eddie Guerrero on the independent scenes before, and you have a match in like the TBD arena or some shit like that. But yeah, it's more likely used for like a what if scenario.
08 Punk having the modern Punk entrance is really fucking funny for a series that touts like authenticity and attention to detail. This is not great. I know you were super hyped about the Joe Hendry pre-order bonus.
That's the worst pre-order bonus I've ever seen.
So
like
let me pull up the fucking page and let me explain to you what you get with each version of this fucking.
God.
Also, don't think it was lost on me. Triple H is on the cover of every single fucking special edition of the game.
Of course.
This guy has the smallest dick in the history of humanity, and I'm pretty sure the steroids and fucking growth hormone have nothing to do with it.
I was watching an old Giant Bomb video a few months ago, and Jeff Gerstmann, for anyone who doubted it, confirmed again in that video that they weren't allowed to show any media where Triple H was on the defense. It always had to be him on offense.
So, God, the 2K website's a fucking piece of shit. So is this laptop. This website fucking sucks.
Yeah, it does.
The show is on. Official now. I mean, can people stop saying this is like a reboot of WWE 13? That game was actually this game. This game is not.
No, it has some features to it, but it's definitely not a reboot. I mean, it's CM Punk and like Attitude Era shit.
Wasn't the draft in Universe before? Like, couldn't you have like a draft where like after matches, motherfuckers like moved to different shows? Am I insane for thinking that was there before?
I don't remember it being in before.
Like when it was the draft lottery and it was like whoever won their brand would get somebody from the other show.
I don't know.
So if you buy the standard edition, you get the game, you get the Joe Hendry pack, you get the pre-order bonus, which I think is the Joe Hendry pack. This is where it gets a little bitch made. I'm gonna pull up the Steam page for 2K26 because that'll actually describe specifically what you get in each version instead of just looking at the website. It would help if I could spell Steam.
The Battle Pass stuff, I know you're gonna go through it. It's just confusing to me because I've played games with Battle Pass. Like I think Gotham Knights had that, but I never spent enough time playing that game or was really interested in it to read much about it. So when they talk about it in this and like the how DLC works, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Not that I cared because I'm not going to play it, but like it just seemed really confusing.
So the Joe Hendry pack gets you Joe Hendry as a playable character, a My Faction Evo card of Joe Hendry,
Yay!
a My Superstar Create a Superstar part, Joe Hendry T-shirt, and the Joe Hendry spin as an island emote.
How's the Joe Henry spin?
Fuck if I know, man. If you buy the fucking Triple K edition of the game, I just noticed this cover also has the titties they photoshopped to not be drooping and all the veins they photoshopped into his arms. You get the King of Kings pack, which is Triple H 98, specifically I think SummerSlam, Stephanie McMahon 2000, and the Triple H signature taunt for the Island. You also only get the first premium season for Ringside Pass, and you get 32,500 VC. If you go up to what is it, $129, this is you get everything I just mentioned. Plus, you get The Rock 99, Kane 98, China 97, that Raw arena that's been in the game files for years. They're going to sell that to you. My Faction Evo cards of The Rock and Steve Austin, the Undertaker throat slice as an emote for the Island, and the crotch chop as an emote for the Island. So for $30 extra, you get fucking 3 characters in an arena, which is fucking insane to me.
I can't imagine being my age who would
Oh,
do
you
like.
also get hold on. You also get 100,000 VC, My Rise Mega Boost, and all 4 seasons of the Ringside Pass.
Someone like my age that would do like crotch chops in like middle school, and now you're going to be like 40 and doing crotch chops online in a WWE video game component called the Island. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, also there's 6 premium seasons because for $20 extra, $150, you get all 6 of those seasons. Everything else named the WrestleMania 42 arena, and then they're going to give you Shawn Michaels 97, Macho Man 98, Piper 98, Thunder 98, and DDP's fucking Bang as an island emote. None of these versions are worth the money they're fucking asking. The ringside pass thing. So the way it is worded, let me find it on the website because this is it might not even be worded this way now. Whereas new and improved gameplay, expanded crowd content, stackable tables, thumbtacks, surprise attackers, barricade combat, and reversal revamp. We don't even know what that means yet.
Nope.
New and improved arenas, SummerSlam 2025, Clash in Paris 2025, alongside legendary throwbacks like Nitro and ECW One Night Stand 2006. Okay, where's the battle?
Again, is already in the game.
And there's new brawl spaces, enhanced creation tools, and more. I'm fucking sure. The island has a really cool junkyard looking arena. It's a shame that you can't fucking use that in exhibition, apparently. But what are you gonna do?
So, I don't know. I'm getting even more confused when I read it because why does the Monday Night Wars edition have like Hogan and stuff on them? They're not like if they're not involved in any way, right?
Yeah, they're not part of the DLC you get. I think it's just those guys are already in the game.
Oh my god! Because it was like super confusing because people were talking about it, like they were only available for that version, and I was like, I know they do shit that doesn't make any sense, but like that's a whole bunch of wrestlers that would be exclusive to the Monday Night Wars pack, and that's real crazy. So,
So Ringside Pass offers players additional incentive to play, and there will be XP earned across all offline game modes. The Battle Pass will include 60 free tiers and 40 premium tiers. Players who reach tier 40 of the Ringside Pass premium tier or season will be able to unlock superstars, cosmetics,
Oh,
customizations, exclusive content for game modes like the island and more. So basically, you not only have to buy the fucking DLC,
you have to
but you
grind your way
also have to
through it.
grind to fucking unlock the characters that you previously would just get handed to you for paying for the DLC. I'm not insane. That's how that reads, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody buying this game can kiss my fucking ass. There's no fucking like pirate the game for fuck's sake if you want to play it. At this point, I was saying this to somebody last night. With sports games, people know better, but they're still going to buy it every year because they're idiots and they want the new thing. There's nothing here that says they deserve your fucking money. And that battle pass system, if you bitch about it and you pay for them and you buy this game, I don't ever want to hear you bitch about it again because you're part of the fucking problem. It's the
I
same
think
thing for years with people that bitched about my team and fucking NBA 2K and Madden Ultimate Team and Madden, but they buy the game every year and they spend the fucking money to get the goddamn digital card packs. Like, oh, I hate Ultimate Team, motherfucker! You're directly supporting it. If you didn't buy the shit and a bunch of other idiots didn't buy the fucking shit, we wouldn't be here.
yeah.
Fucking stupid.
Well, we're too far gone now. I mean, shit's never gonna change.
I mean, things could change if people would just stop fucking supporting the shit. They
Yeah, but they
won't.
won't. Exactly. So we're stuck in the cycle. I
These games are never going to be good. They're never going to be good. And here's the realistic thing: if the 2K fucking deal ends, WWE's going to EA if EA still exists in a few years. And everybody that was like, "Oh, I wish EA would make a game in the lead up to 2K22's release," is going to fucking regret that if it happens.
yeah, yeah. I want to talk about some of these. Shawn Michaels 97. That's probably going to be DX attire, right?
Has to be.
Macho Man Randy Savage 98. So in 2K24, they had a Wolfpack Savage that wasn't in 2K25. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that's Wolfpack Savage back again. Roddy Piper 98 has never been in. That's something that they've never done before, but there's actually a mod, Roddy Piper 98, for 2K25, so you can just get that. Thunder 98, there's a few different really good Thunder 98 arenas that will probably look better than what they're going to do in this.
Yeah.
Rock 99 has been in like bunch of shit. K98 looks terrible, as we talked about. His mask is fucking strange. It looks painted on and his mouth moves below the mask. His hair looks really short for some reason. He's got the double sleeved. I mean, I understand that Kane wore that in 98, but come on, when you think about Kane around that period, 97, 98, 99, you think of the one sleeve. So,
If you say Kane 98, I specifically think about the two sleeves because it's what he's wearing when he wins the title.
how long did...
He's
So,
champion
like,
for one day and he only wears it for a couple of months. But when you say like Kane 98, I specifically think you're talking about that version. Because otherwise, you're just going to say one sleeve Kane or just Kane. It's
well,
when you get to the specific like quantifier of 98 that my brain immediately goes, oh, two sleeves.
I've seen people like call Kane just like regular one sleeve 98 as well. I don't know, but then you see weird stuff like that with mods too. Like it'll be like Nash 2000, and it's really like Nash 2002. Like I don't know if people don't understand what years they are or what, but I hate that they went with the two sleeve. I had it reversed, so I thought in Create a Wrestler the female model had one sleeve and the male model had two sleeve. It's actually the opposite. So the female model in Create a Wrestler only has the one sleeve attire, and the male model only has the two sleeve. Oh, I'm getting confused. It's one or the other.
Do
But
you
yeah,
think
his
they didn't
model.
let the one sleeve for the women because they were concerned about like side boob? I'm not trying to be funny when I say that. That's like a legitimate
It's
question.
maybe, yeah. Anyway, his model looks terrible.
Yeah, it
Fucking
looks like
awful.
shit.
China 97. So that's like
Manager
I
China specifically.
hope pre surgery China. Um,
Pre a couple of surgeries, yeah.
Yeah, so Triple H 98, we've already seen that's DX, like, and it looks like he's got like of course, it doesn't look like they've done any like changes to his face or anything in the picture that I saw. Definitely 2000s, so that's probably like the white SMH shirt, I'm guessing.
That's my guess.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's that. Yippee yippee ki This
I
is
I
depressing.
can't imagine even feigning excitement for that DLC this year.
I tell you what.
Like,
So I have felt like sort of that obligation in a weird way to buy the new game because like as a wrestling fan and I've got nothing else that's new, it's like okay, like I want to play something new, then this is what it is. I don't feel anything of the sort this year. Um in fact the whole thing just made me really depressed when I was reading it. And to see like I had this account like pop up on my Twitter that I've never seen before. And this is a dude that's like all over it and is like, oh, this is gonna be great. And I'm just like, I don't know where these people come from. I was looking at YouTube the when the embargo lifted to see if there was any like gameplay videos or anything, and I came across like a Kenny Bomb video that was using a Chris Jericho model in his thumbnail, and I was like, I don't like this
yeah,
community. I just it's the whole thing is just like really really depressing if you think about it for more than 5 minutes because like this is what we're stuck with, and you know there's these independent projects, but we know how hard they are. I mean, big budget titles and it's in itself they're really hard too because you have to answer to a whole bunch of people. But the fact that we've got no other options right now is just it makes me sort of madder at Fight Forever that it wasn't bigger than it was and that it was missing so much stuff because like
thank you,
you
Nick
know
Sobek.
obviously it would be a few years old now but like if it had all those features that it was missing I could still go back to it and you know get something out of it um but it's not there and so this is what we're left with and fucking sucks. It really, really fucking sucks.
You know what needs to happen? All of this PS2 decompiling and recompiling. Somebody needs to decompile and recompile like KOC2 and get some people on board with like a native fucking PC version that know what the fuck they're doing and not. I love the stuff that the KOC2 Discord is doing until you actually play matches with those characters and it's like, oh, they no there's a balance with like the parameters and stuff in KOC that like I'm not even good at hitting with edits. It's why I don't make edits in KOC. But
Hmm.
like the future of these fucking games is going to be people doing mods of old games. Like you see it popping up more and more with like old fucking like NFL and NBA games. And people were still doing like MVP baseball mods as of even a couple of years ago. These companies care more about their bottom line because the stock market's broken everybody's fucking brain. And I mean, make no mistake about it, there were plans for Fight Forever to be a pseudo live service game,
Oh
and
yeah.
they pissed that away right away, which thank God. But like, yeah, shit sucks, man. You asked me about like the chances of that, alleged New Japan project at the Yuke's Osaka studio still going ahead. If we haven't heard anything about it by now, I'm willing to bet it got completely just shelved.
Yeah, I assume that's probably the case. I was holding on to hope for something, for anything, to save us from this life. Uh, yeah, it's what a situation. I mean, you think about, you know, I don't want to be like back in my day, but like the '90s and the early 2000s, where we had so many different choices, and you know, not
Yeah,
just with wrestling, but as we've talked about in detail, of like sports games. And it's just all gone. All of it is just gone. And this is what we're left with.
yeah, and it's sad that like you go on YouTube and you see like a video about like the Konami NBA games from like fucking
Yeah.
like the PS2, and it's like the failed Konami NBA game, and it's like, okay, well, and I think I've said this before, like, but when you say something's a failed game, you're immediately like cutting off at the knees the amount of people that are going to watch this video that are going to think like, oh, I kind of want to play this, even if you say it's a good game. And
Wasn't wasn't Give and Go a Konami game?
yeah, and they did in the Zone as well
Yeah,
for the
that's right. Yeah.
PlayStation. Their football game sucked. Full Contact for the PS1. I forgot that shit existed, and I looked up some gameplay videos of it, and I was like, it can't be as bad as it looks. No, it's actually worse. It's a lot worse.
The thing is, even if they were shit, at least there was an option there to try something else. Like,
Yeah. Remember when we used to get like 3 different WWE games? I mean, it only happened like in '02 and '03 and '05, but like what a time it was when you had like console specific games that all played differently.
yeah, 2K made Battlegrounds and it was shit, and they said, "Oh, this isn't gonna work." Like, it could have worked if you made something good. You could have had an alternative. Do you remember like when the Japanese baseball games were a big deal? Everybody like, "Oh, you've
Yeah.
got to see these Japanese games." Um,
Yeah, they're still doing that with
yeah,
Pro Yaku Spirits or whatever it's called.
yeah, that's right.
But baseball's huge in Japan. Wrestling's not.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of like when there was just like different stuff out there to explore. You know, there's nothing now.
I
Fucking hell.
Speaking of old sports games, I finally picked up the NFL head coach game for PS2 after not playing it. Like I remember, have I ever told you my family video scam that I used to do when I had a modded PS2?
No.
Okay. So when I learned that having a flip top meant I could just rent games, copy them, and take them back, I would do it. So for a long time, I was renting games, copying them, and if I liked them, I would just buy them. If I didn't like them, honestly, I would just be like wasted disc, and I would throw most of them away. Uh, just what you do. People did way worse stuff pirating Dreamcast games and never buying them. What I was doing was slightly less bad. NFL Head Coach was one of the games that I had copied, and because I was 15 and kind of stupid, I didn't see it for what it was, which is like it's an NFL strategy game.
Yeah.
Like an NFL management sim strategy game. And like, if I would have seen it as that when I was 15, it would have clicked everything in my fucking brain.
Were you expecting like
And
another Madden?
I don't know what the hell I was expecting when I was 15. I don't even know what I thought it was going to be, but I picked it up again and I was like actually playing it. I was like, no, this kind of rules. Like the default camera angle is like isometric and it's kind of high up, and that's like an interesting camera angle you don't really get to use in like Madden.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I was like, oh, this game came out in 2006 when EA also had an arena football game, Madden, and the NCAA game. And it's insane to look back. I mean, you can't argue that they didn't have like an absolute monopoly over the genre, but um, just the idea that they had 4 completely unique football games with 3 different licenses serving completely different play styles and fan bases is insane because it never fucking happened again. The next year they had Road to Glory, Madden '08, and NCAA '08, but like head coach didn't come back until '09.
Hmm.
And then I every retrospective you see about those games also is like, well, these games didn't sell. Yeah, because EA probably thought they were going to eat into the Madden market share, and it didn't. Those games had a small niche audience that if you marketed it to those people specifically, you might have made a little bit more fucking progress because those games are amazing. Like on every level with like the team management stuff. My first meeting with the Colts, I told the special teams coordinator the team's going to move on with or without you. This motherfucker got up and walked out, and I was like, I'm going to have a chance to make that better. No, I just don't have a special teams coordinator now. I never thought that shit would happen to me in a video game, and I saw that and I was like, this is the greatest football game of all time. Why is it not more heralded? And then you see like, oh yeah, it didn't really sell very well. But that game sales don't are not an indication of quality. Like Madden 05 outsold NFL 2K5, although not on the Xbox. I think it was the Xbox. Or might 2K5 outsells Madden on one of the systems. But like game quality doesn't indicate sales and vice versa. Honestly, like that the NCAA games were always more fun to play than Madden. I just
Yeah.
miss when we had like you look at like the let's say like the 02 season for the NFL, right? You had Madden, NFL 2K2, you had Blitz 2002, you had Konami's ESPN NFL Primetime, and then you had Quarterback Club.
And
That's
Street was
five
out as well,
NFL.
right?
Is Streets 03 the first one is, I
Okay.
think. So that's like fucking five quote unquote simulation NFL games released. Oh, I guess Blitz isn't one, but that's like five NFL licensed games in 1 year. And like the next year, you have the same games, just knock off Quarterback Club and replace it with Street Volume 1 or Street 1. It's still 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, if you were somebody that owned an Xbox, you can add fucking NFL Fever to that too. So there are 6. And I mean, everybody falls off really quickly because by the time you get to the 2005 season, it's just 2K and EA fucking duking it out. But like those few years when we had options, man, oof, Japanese wrestling games of the early 2000s, same fucking shit. If you wanted a game with New Japan guys, you had a million of them.
Yeah. And you still had like on 360 that was like Backbreak as well, right?
Yep, All Pro 2K8
Yep.
was the best fucking football game released that console generation. I always hoped that game sold better. And I know their logic for not having a proper franchise mode, but I always thought it was bullshit because it's a video game.
Yeah.
I don't care that these guys are legends in their prime and I'm starting a fucking franchise mode. Peyton Manning's in his fucking prime in Madden. You could do stat degradation for these guys or not. It's a fucking video game. Let me have Steve Young in his prime for 20 years. Who gives a fuck? It's fake. It's a video game. But people didn't want to buy something that didn't have the big fucking license on it, which is something we deal with in wrestling games now. It's why there's no more. And well, NBA Live died because people just, by the time Live got good again, 2K had taken over.
Yeah.
I guess it's that competition thing that fucking soft drink TV account fucking jacks off about in every one of his videos. I also think like league licensing fees are kind of out of control now too, to where like, and also we don't have mid-sized publishers anymore. There's no Acclaim or Midway to be like, oh, I guess Acclaim technically exists now, but nobody's going to stand up and be like, we'll pay you X amount of millions of dollars for the league license, and knowing full well you're not going to make it back because you're not 2K. I wouldn't try it.
Yeah, it's there was a time when video games didn't have licenses and that would lead to people creating what was missing, right? Like the teams and getting the logos the best that they can and the players with the stats the best that they can. People used to be creative. It was a fun time.
Yeah. I also found out recently, or I found out, I saw a video of it and it clicked in my brain that I didn't have this, but there was a Tecmo Super Bowl remake in like 2010 on PS3 that had like new graphics and the original graphics. And I don't know why, but when I saw it, my memory was that it was always a mobile game. No, it was a PS3 game. I remember contemplating buying it. And then there was the awesome DS game with the fucking Los Angeles Supercocks.
I
one
had
of the
that.
teams. That game was awesome.
Yeah. Do you remember what was the Aliens game on the DS, the 3DS?
I only had a 3DS for a little bit.
There was a really good Aliens like side scroll game on there.
Huh.
Was it Aliens Infestation? That's what it was called. Yeah, that game was really cool.
Oh, that's a regular DS game. What the fuck?
Oh, it was standard DS, yeah.
Yeah,
That's another
I've
thing.
never seen this.
That's another thing. We obviously don't get anymore like console exclusive and different versions based on the console was a cool thing. I mean, the Wii versions weren't always the best, but the fact that they just had something different was a neat idea.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I
the handhelds were, and I think in most cases were a different version.
yeah like that Spider-Man Web of Shadows game on PS2 and DS is like a 2.5D
Yeah,
beat 'em up. And IGN shits all over the PS2 version, and I've seen videos talking about how bad that game is. I remember specifically buying that version and being like, "No, this is all right. This is pretty good."
sort of the problem with advancements in technology is now that everything can be the same across the board, right? Because you're using like your Steam Deck as a handheld or the ROG Ally or whatever, and they're close enough to modern consoles. I mean, they're PCs, so you're going to get the same everywhere, which kind of sucks. Bring back Flash games. That's what we need. We need Newgrounds to come back.
I there was a game I was looking at that had a console specific version, and I was just like, "This looks like shit," but like we used to really have um like multiple fucking just versions of what was it? It might have been SmackDown '09, the one that had the thumbtacks. Just like, oh, look at this fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, that's what they're bringing back this year. Thumbtacks. It's.
Yeah, they totally didn't get the idea from Fight Forever.
Hmm. I totally forgot in Fight Forever that you could like jump from one ladder to the other. And I was like, that's just a really cool thing that's in there. It's
Yeah,
yeah.
Nick Sobick's going to hell. He is going to fucking hell, man.
Well, we
I
were talking about that too. It's like, well, what do you do? Like, who do you bring in? And like, we talked about like Sanders Keel and like if you should bring him in and stuff. But like, the thing about Nick Sobick was like he had multiple. It wasn't just video games, right? He was working in like he was the head of like a bunch of different departments, right?
Mhm.
So you'd have to create like I guess it doesn't matter, but Sanders Keel, if he was just going to work in the video game division, would need a different role because he's not going to be involved in all the stuff Nick Sobick was involved in. At least I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, I would hope not.
No.
That
If they bring him,
guy,
if they bring him in, he's got to like start eating apples again. That's the only thing I request of him.
I somebody brought up to me like, Corey Ledesma. Corey Ledesma is really good friends with Brian Williams, and I don't think Brian Williams has a lot of nice things to say about working with AEW.
I think I'd take like
So
anyone with experience at this point. Just
I'm just
like
saying I don't think Corey Ledesma would accept the offer if
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
one was
yeah.
extended.
It's just
So that
I don't
literally
know.
leaves Sanders, unless you're trying to go headhunt somebody from fucking Acclaim.
We bring in Sal DeVita.
I don't even know what the fuck that guy's doing now. Like
I
mobile
saw
games, probably.
I saw somewhere. I don't know if it was in the Mortal Kombat documentary, but that it said he was still making games. Yeah. Um. God, I don't know what you do. Like they got themselves into a mess.
Yeah, and I brought it up last week, but the thing where it's like, oh, the most fun meeting we have were the mini games, and Adam Cole really liked the Sheeta Slugfest thing. Listen, when AJ Styles and Samoa Joe tried to be really hands on with TNA Impact, it was because they wanted the game to be fun to play. And to be
Hmm.
clear, Impact is fun. It's just really limited with the move sets. And when you find out Midway was bleeding money, they were a year away from going under. They needed to just get Impact out the door to try to make money. That game is a lot less disappointing when you look at the context of its release, and also when you compare the in-ring gameplay to the shitty fucking SmackDown game that came out. Impact looks like goddamn King of Coliseum by comparison.
Yeah.
But like they
I,
weren't sitting there. Nobody at Midway. Sal DeVito was not listening to fucking Samoa Joe pitch a goddamn slugfest mini game.
no.
Like they didn't have fucking Jeremy Borash in those meetings. Like, you know what you guys need to do? You need to have a Mario Party mode in this game because nobody thought to do that. It was a fucking wrestling game. And people in that fucking office, and I know a lot of people try to say like, well, Kenny was really just a figurehead. He was using Iwashita to try to get the shit he wanted in the game done, but he might have had the ability to be like, listen, this is my project, please let's not do this, but he wanted the live service shit in too. because he was the one that was in the interview saying like when somebody comes in or somebody debuts a new attire or we change like a set, we could just update the game. He
Yep.
wanted certain aspects of the live service, and he didn't put up much of a fight when it came to the mini games, but it also wouldn't have done him any good because the guy who was the head of AEW Games, it was all his fucking idea. Because he had the fucking dumbass, like, how do we get the casuals? You know, you get the casuals, you make a fucking fun wrestling game. Like, all the stuff you could do with, like, the propane bomb and stuff, that's enough to hook people that think the game's really goofy and they want to play it. The problem is when they get the game, there's not much to do because you spent all that fucking money on shit that didn't need to be developed.
Yeah. You remember that stuff was like a big attraction when it was first shown because we didn't really know about any of that stuff. It wasn't until they showed it off to like the press and stuff, and then New Legacy put on those videos, and everyone was like, holy shit, you can do this, you can like ride skateboards and shit, and
like the skateboard shit in the matches was fun. The propane bomb was hilarious.
It gave people a new perspective on that game because like they didn't, like I said, they didn't get to see any of that, and you know, if you could just build on that momentum and had a more full game, then you would have had something. But it's funny though, like how it affects like the overall like outlook on that game, because now you have people saying like, oh, like Fight Forever is just an awful wrestling game, and it's like they lump everything in. Like if everything else is disappointing, like at the end of the day, gameplay doesn't really matter to people. You know what I mean? It's like they're not gonna go say, well, the gameplay is fun. If you don't have the features and stuff, they're just gonna be like, well, everything's shit. You know? That's the way they view things.
It's unfortunate because gameplay was never the issue with Fight. The truncated movesets bug me, but like the actual in-match gameplay smokes everything we've gotten with the WWE logo on it going back years.
Yeah, they had something at its core that was pretty well developed. You just needed to build on that. And God, I don't even know if like maybe the fact that they had the head of like video games means that they're not even going to do another video game. I mean, you think they would have to at some point.
I mean, it's been discussed. Mike Straw mentioned it like a year and change ago that there were discussions with publishers, and I even talked about it last week when the news broke. Like the problem is people are gonna like the TV ratings are easily accessible, and the sales data for the game is not as easily accessible, but it's probably not a fucking secret that the game didn't sell very well.
Yeah.
So like if you're a prospective publisher, do you take that risk? How much money are you willing to spend to get the game out the door? How much money are you willing to spend to market it, knowing? Because let's be honest here, AEW's market share is smaller than it was 3 years ago when that game came out.
Yeah, definitely.
So like, and also the wrestling bubble's starting to fucking deflate. People are starting to turn on WWE. Whether that leads to like a quicker or a slower slide, we don't know, but there's a fucking slide coming for that company. It's going to be very funny to watch.
We had talked previously about like a Fire Pro, you know, combining AEW, New Japan, Stardom, CMLL, and Ring of Honor, and I think, you know, we went through that period where the only way for Japanese wrestling games to survive a little bit was by adding multiple promotions into the game. And I think that's the way you have to do it. I mean, if you're not WWE, then, you know, get different promotions in. Then you're going to have like the CMLL fan base, you know, and the New Japan fan base. So you're pulling from sort of every corner that you can. I think that's a really good idea. I think it's an interesting idea too, because AEW obviously isn't closed like WWE is. So the fact that you're featuring all these different stars, I think it's just you know, it's Forbidden Door, right? It's the broader world of wrestling, and I think that's how a new game should be. And I think it also takes you back to like, you know, WCW versus the World and stuff, when they were open too with like having wrestlers from different promotions, even though they didn't use their real names. The appearance was there, and it's like, oh, I'm discovering all these people. You know, it'd be really cool if like someone was to play a new game that didn't watch CMLL on New Japan and just could let people through a video game. You know, everything old is new again, so let's go back to these old ideas and pull stuff from there. Uh, I just when we talked about that, I can't get that idea out of my head of just like a multi-promotion game. I think that'd be fucking cool, to be honest,
Did
as
you ever
opposed to just
DM
AEW.
Matsumoto about that thing?
I
Also,
did, yes.
did he respond?
Nope. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it.
uh, I should have never deleted my fucking shit because he would respond every time I fucking DM'd him.
Well,
Um,
I mean, the way I look at it too is like sometimes Japanese developers are really closed with what they want to share and what they want out there. So in regards to that, I wasn't really expecting a response.
that's fair. I I agree that the best way to approach this is to try to succeed on the strength of multiple licenses when the one license is not nearly as strong as the big one in the marketplace.
Yeah.
I just think it makes the most sense to try to band together. If you're going to go with Japanese promotions, though, there's no way around it. You will need a Switch 2 port in one that runs well
That's true.
because the PlayStation is not as popular in Japan as it is in the rest of the world. The
Let's
Switch,
say
however, is very
let
popular.
let's just take away like Fire Pro if they were to do a new game with like different promotions. Like, what do you again? It's like a what if scenario. I mean, to me, you bring back Ukes. I think that's the easiest route to go through. I mean, they've already worked on your game. Just leave them to their own devices and let them do what they want to do, and they would be able to put it on Switch. I mean, they've already Fight Forever was already on the Switch, right? So they've had experience developing for that.
I think they need to apologize to you for sure.
After Ukes apologizes to what's Double Dragon? That's Capcom, right?
No, that's Arc System.
Right,
Marks.
right. They might need to apologize to them first.
I look at like yes, AEW has the source code. They don't own the engine. The engine is Unreal Engine.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Khan does not own that shit. They own the source code for Fight Forever. But like you'd have to take a hatchet to so many aspects of that fucking game.
Yeah, and as we've seen, like new developers working with Uke's code, it didn't really work out last time. So, doesn't Tony Khan have like a share of Unreal or something?
Epic, maybe?
Oh, was it that? Okay, yeah, I think so.
I just anybody that comes on is gonna have to do a lot of rebuilding
Mm-hmm.
the certain aspects of that game, and I don't know how plausible that's going to be, how feasible it's gonna be. Um
That's also like when you get in bed with a developer, that's sort of the risk that you run too, is that you've had someone that's worked for you and they worked with that code specifically and they know the ins and outs, right? And then you bring someone else in and it's could be like a jumbled mess to them, you don't know. So I mean, we talk about legends of wrestling with Showdown, working with another team's previous work. It's not always smooth.
I do think part of the issue is they were using their own proprietary engine for two than what the Austin studio was using for like their games.
Right.
So maybe if you had devs that were well versed in Unreal Engine, it might be a little bit easier. But the number of dev teams I would trust to work on a wrestling game at this point, there's like two of them.
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
AEW would have to apologize to one of them, and the other one they would have to leave the fuck alone. And I don't think they would.
Yeah.
And you know, what does a fire pro game with a fucking like sub $40 million budget look like?
I have no idea.
I'd be curious to see.
Yeah, me too. It's like a future what if it were ever to happen. It's. I mean, we know Matsumoto wants to do something. If it was up to him, he'd be deep in development right now. But unfortunately, it's not up to him.
I mean, maybe he is. Who knows?
Maybe.
I know that there were a lot of people convinced that Kenny doing Street Fighter stuff with Capcom was going to lead somewhere. I don't see it. I don't think Capcom's going to take a bet on a pro wrestling game. I don't think
That's the
Capcom would take a bet on a WWE game. I don't think there's any real interest in the genre from that.
That's just like real funny to me when you consider. I mean, yeah, he was involved with Fight Forever, but at some point, like he stopped talking about it. And you see him in like these Street Fighter commercials he's doing the mocap for Alex, and his moves are all in there, his taunts and everything, and it's just like I don't know. It's like you're a part of this company. You you're you're so involved with like Capcom, and it's like it just seems weird.
I think part of it is also there might have been a thing at one point with AEW games where they publicly told people, listen, you're not the face of these projects anymore.
Mm.
Because around the same time, they do like another mobile game that Aubrey Edwards publicly posts about, and then she never says a fucking word about it again publicly.
Yeah.
And they let some of those games die way too fucking early. Like, one of these days, we're going to do that AEW games postmortem, especially now that Nick Sobek is gone. But that's going to be like an 8-hour episode. That's going to be like the fucking episode 100 where there's so much bullshit to go through and go over that, like,
Is that going to kill my
it's
computer again?
maybe. Because, like, they had that fucking, like, the casino game that was just a reskinned version of another fucking mobile casino game.
Yeah.
It had, like, no AEW branding outside of the start screen at one point, and then they had to quickly, like, pivot and fix it. And, Elite General Manager, people were kind of sweet on that game for a little bit, and then support very quickly fucking dried up. Like, it was, like, right after all the new signings came in and they did them as DLC. It was, like, over fucking immediately.
Mm.
And then, the long, painful fucking push of Fight Forever. Which I think everybody involved, looking back, wishes that game had not been announced when it was, but they felt the pressure to show that something was in development rather than just saying, yes, we have something coming.
And that just made everyone frustrated because it took so long to see anything, right?
Yeah, because they do that original teaser and then they don't show fucking anything until June 17th, 2021. I remember the date because it was the day Zombie Sailor Series 1 went up for pre-order, and I went to like Hamilton to hang out with one of my friends for the weekend. And he literally got to my house like 10 minutes after the fucking the Derby footage went up. And that was like the only thing we talked about like that whole weekend in the car was like, holy shit, there's a new wrestling game coming in. It actually looks good. And they didn't show that. What was the next thing? Jungle Boy. And then nothing until like May of 2022 when they showed Nyla Rose and Statlander. And Statlander on the fucking AEW game stream was just like, yeah, I don't care that I'm in a game. Tremendous.
Oh god, yeah. That was why did she do that?
Because she didn't care.
Yeah, but you're not Raven,
And they thought getting a live reaction would be like cool. But they didn't ask her beforehand, apparently. Like, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Nyla would have been the better pick in that scenario.
Definitely. Yeah.
Because she would have been hyped for a shoot, but probably also would have just, been hyped for the camera too. And like all of the fucking like Evil Uno being left out to fucking look like an asshole.
That was crazy.
Constantly on those fucking streams.
He was like all over that game, and he wasn't even in the game itself.
No,
I was like convinced that it was going to be ended up being DLC because I was like, why else would you have this guy, as part of your channel and like covering so much of it? And they didn't put him in.
because he was the face of AEW games, him and Adam Cole.
Yeah,
And now they're not.
they still do things, don't they, for their channel?
I thought it was the MXM guys that were like the main faces of it
Yeah,
now.
I think they go back and forth. But MXN was playing. They've been playing King of Colosseum 2 recently.
Okay, I thought they played KOC Green because one of my friends referenced that to me. I'm like, I thought they played KOC Green.
Yeah, it was definitely KOC 2 that they were playing. I saw a video of on Twitter. It was them and like there was a few other people in the video. I can't remember now. I think it was Anthony Bournes and God, what's Big Bill's tag team partner again? Mine's blanking.
Oh, Frankie. So they actually
Yeah.
got somebody that knows Japanese wrestling.
Yeah, I
on
think
one
he
of
was. I can't remember who he was playing as.
Because remember when they did the virtual pro stream and everybody got pissed because Adam Cole clearly had no clue that half the fucking roster was.
It's kind of crazy, but yeah.
And then when they saw the German suplex no sell the first time, he does the fucking like the YouTube streamer face.
They've got Dalton Castle playing as well.
I mean, Dalton Castle came up through Chikara. He's probably a fucking nerd. He might know.
They've got Shinsuke against someone that I can't. Who is that? Who's that wrestler? I don't think. Maybe it's. I think that's Tanahashi. No, well, maybe it might be his older tire. But yeah, they've got Evil Uno and Adam Cole talking about like Street Fight, and I think Ricochet is in some of their videos as well. they've got a screenshot of they've got their heads on top of models from KSV too, like Mason's head's on Shinjiro Otani. Ricochet's head is on, it looks like, Masato Tanaka. Brian Keith on Taka, and I'm not sure who Manso's head is on there, but yeah, it's cool to see that they're covering that. Well, covering it is a weird word, but they're at least putting it on the channel. Hopefully, it gets some people on it.
I guess my big question is like, are they any good at playing it, or is this like when they had people demo Fight Forever and it made the game look like shit?
I don't think they're very good at. Like, I haven't gone and watched the full video, but the Brian Keefe and Anthony Bowen's one was like just like picking up weapons, and it just seemed like they were doing a lot of like strikes and stuff. But again, I haven't seen the full video. It is kind of frustrating when you see stuff like that, and if you're doing a game channel, like you want to see people like learn the proper controls and stuff. Just really show off the game. So it'd be nice if like they just looked up a guide and knew what they were doing. But I don't know. I haven't watched the full video.
Nothing ruins people wanting to get into a video game worse than the first thing they see is somebody that runs a gaming channel just making the game look like shit.
Yeah, I don't think they've made it look like that. It's just I think that if you're misrepresenting the game, because if you see just like people doing strikes and like weapon shots, then I think there's they probably already have like a control scheme in their head, right? And King of Colosseum's nothing like what you probably imagine. So it's something that you really need to show off and like help people understand what it is. Because to me, it's the greatest wrestling game of all time. So I think I would want to be like, okay, this is what exactly this game is. Let's represent it fully, so people have an idea of what they're getting into. You're not going to pick it up and start doing grapples like you're in an Aki game or something.
Well, remember, to parallel it to AEW games, remember when they showed off Fire Pro World as CEO and Kenny stood up there and told the audience it was a very easy to pick up and play game, and everybody in the community was like, "Oh no, they're gonna fucking piss a lot of people off with this."
Yeah, yeah,
And
and
I remember a
this,
furry that I used to be mutuals with on Twitter was like, "Well, what do you want him to say? That the control scheme will frustrate you right away? Like, at least say this is a game with a high skill curve. They were at a fucking fighting game tournament. These are
yeah,
all people that are willing to learn a game."
yeah, and I don't think telling people that a game takes a little bit of learning is a bad thing. You know,
I mean, to WWE fans, it is because learning is not their strengths.
I mean that's true. But I'm talking
Most
about
of them,
WWE fans.
no, but they were the ones that had the most to say about that fucking game once the trailer
They've
started
got
to
the
come
most to
out.
say about everything. So
Yeah, and it all screams like, "Look at me, I have a third grade education," and that's if I'm being polite about it. Um, but to circle back to like Fight Forever and how they marketed that game on the stream, I'll always go back to like they had Brody Lee's kid playing the game against the AI, and like that was cool. Like, hey, he's playing the fucking game or whatever.
yeah,
But then they would have like the actual AEW wrestlers, or like Evil Uno would be playing the game, and he was the guy most like fucking most of the publicity of the game was centered around, and he
hmm
sucked at it. They would just have two wrestlers sit down and play the game, and they're just doing shit, and none of it makes the game look good. And I remember saying it to you at the time because we were doing the podcast even then. Like anybody that looks at this that might end up thinking this game sucks is probably not completely wrong in thinking that. There's a lot of games in history that like even the like publisher release footage. Doom 2016 is a big example of this. The early footage Bethesda put out made that shit seem really fucking lame. Like they made it seem really slow paced, like it was just another generic first person shooter. And then you see the first gameplay from people that got the game and like, no, the game's super fast, it's super violent, it's over the top. Like you just needed to put this in the hands of people that fucking could actually play it. And
yeah.
there's
I mean,
nothing worse with wrestling games than that kind of footage because we used to get that with like the SVR games for years with that dumb fuck Greg Miller. Like, oh, all I can do are running grapples because everything else I try gets reversed. Cool, you're making this game look even worse than it actually is, and those games didn't need any help looking like shit.
yeah, it's like I said before. When people saw an appeal in Fight Forever, it was when New Legacy got their hands on it, and they showed that like the gas canisters and all this stuff, and that was when people were like, "Oh, there's fun to be had with this game," you know. And yeah, they didn't do. It was like very like guerrilla marketing. There didn't seem to be any real logic behind any of it. Guerrilla marketing, I guess, is the wrong word, but like there didn't seem to be anything like, yeah, like really like, okay, this is our schedule, this is what we're going to do. It's just like hand these guys the game, put them in a little hotel room and let them play it for a bit, you know. um it felt very unprofessional for, you
Yeah, it
know.
felt very minor league,
Exactly, yeah.
and you don't want like the last thing that game needed was to feel like fucking minor league.
Hmm.
And I remember Bix messaging me once, like, yeah, from everything I'm hearing, this game is going to be the game everybody wants. And I almost messaged him when I got my review copy, like, I just want you to know, whoever told you that's fucking full of shit. There are going to be a lot of people mad with this game.
Yeah, if he got his hands on it, he would have pulled the fire alarm if he was on those press events.
Well, he would have been justified. Well, also remember, there were people that were convinced when the Full Gear 2022 trailer came out that they were going to have like some sort of a fucking playable demo at the pay-per-view,
Yeah,
and
that's
then they
right.
didn't. And then there was like the AEW game server. There were like the fucking guys with, oh, some asshole from PlayStation uploaded the trailer too early. Like, buddy, this isn't somebody at PlayStation fucking clicking a button. That thing was scheduled to go up at midnight.
That whole server was a giant mess. Like,
Dude, it's just a bunch of dumb fuckers. And then I got invited into a server with like a few of the guys, and they were just like idiots. Like do you remember the Killing It Krillin kid that was in that server?
I don't remember the name, but I probably know what you're talking about.
What a dumb fuck. Like in the server, like, oh, Eddie's a bitch because he doesn't like Claudio because Claudio left. And I'm like, Claudio left Chikara. I'm like, yeah, he left Chikara during the fucking Larry Sweeney tribute tournament. If I'm Eddie Kingston and that was like my homie, regardless of the circumstances, I'd probably be a little bit fucking upset with him too, especially if I didn't already like the guy. Like, the wrestling business is not one of like rational people, but that's a pretty fucking rational beef. Like, especially knowing Eddie Kingston, I would understand why he would take offense to that and be a little upset and see it as disrespecting his friend, if that's how he viewed it.
I
Which,
don't
if you read between the lines, it's kind of what it seems like.
I don't remember that. I just remember there was like one guy that used to crash out a lot, and like the mods ended up like protecting him at the end. They're like, everyone just get along.
Oh, is everybody okay?
Oh yeah, that's
Like
right.
any
The
sign
mod
of
that was
any
checking
sort of
in on
fucking
people.
discussion. But also, like fucking Ziddy not knowing what a dog collar match was. Like, buddy,
Oh
you're the
my god,
community
yeah.
manager for this IP. Like, what the fuck, man?
I don't approve of like cruelty against animals or some shit. It's like, oh Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and I remember Ziddy during one of the Gamescom streams, just like openly mocking the wrestling fans who were like, "We don't care about Wreckfest,
Yeah,
where's Fight
I remember
Forever?"
that. Yeah.
And remember how good that game looked in that original Adam Cole Kenny Omega footage?
Hmm.
That's the power of putting that game in the hands of people that know how to showcase it. Because
Yeah.
that made that game look fucking amazing. I still, by the way, always use the Avalanche One Winged Angel as Kenny Omega just because I think the animation's really cool.
Yeah, it is cool. There's a lot of really cool animations in that game.
Yeah, just a shame Nick Sobek fucked it all up.
This is just like a really depressing wrestling game episode of like things that never happened, things that should have happened. You know?
Things that never will happen.
Yeah. The horrible state of the wrestling game landscape. It's like Terminator in 2029 with broken skulls everywhere, broken dreams, and we've got nothing to live for.
Yeah, pretty much, honestly. Like at this point, emulating old games and modding old games, that's the fucking only way forward. We are not going to get something from these major companies that's going to be satisfying. We're not going to get something that's worth the money at this point.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, I appreciate Fire Pro World still being active on Steam. That's the thing that I always go back to every now and then. You asked me a little bit, like when I was talking about playing 2K25, and you're like, why don't you just play Fire Pro? Different experiences, obviously, but the one thing I'll say about a negative for Fire Pro, and it's a really big one, is, and I've seen other people bring this up too, is that you'll subscribe to a wrestler on Steam, and you'll download. You want to subscribe to the items separately because if you just click subscribe to everything, then you get a bunch of wrestlers that are attached to those moves that you don't want. So you go down the list and you subscribe to everything separately, and then you go in the game and you can't play as that wrestler because you've got like 10 parts missing, and it happens like constantly, and it's so frustrating.
yeah, Workshop is not great. That's not that game's fault though. That's just how Workshop is.
No, well, it's I think it's part of it's like the creators as well too, right? Because they're not listing everything that they have added for that wrestler, so you have to find them yourself, and it's so frustrating. Like I have to keep the game open and open a browser and type in the Steam workshop number, download that, and like you don't get everything. Like you get a few things, and that so you think you've got everything you need, and then you go back and you're still missing like 10 parts for that wrestler, and it's just like, oh Jesus Christ, that's something in that game that drives me crazy.
I'd still rather put up with that than play 2K, but it's a pain in the ass. That's why I stuck after a certain point just downloading the Phil Parent stuff.
Yeah, and I thought about that. Like at one point, I was just gonna download his stuff and like download like the fictional logos and rings and stuff because I thought that was kind of a neat idea. But then I was like, I really kind of want these new moves and stuff that people have made, so I went back to doing that and got frustrated again. But I mean, again, I'm happy that Fire Pro is on Steam because that's still something you can always go back to. Thank God for that.
Yeah, I just at this point, everybody that wants a wrestling game is just going to buy 2K every year. You're
Yeah,
never going to be able to convert people to buy Fire Pro, sadly.
No,
Didn't stop me from posting about it every time it went on sale on Blue Sky.
yeah, I post about it quite a bit too. Yeah, it's just the vicious circle is just gonna continue and go on and on and on. As we've seen with the other sports titles, the days of innovation and choice is over. It's been over for a long time. It's just now that we've got this battle pass, it's worse than it's ever been, really. Um, but yeah, Fire Pro. There's some other stuff on Steam that's not great, but there's a few games on there. There's 3 Count Bout is on GOG. If anyone wants to buy that. Um, the
Big
Slot
Bang Pro
Masters,
Wrestling is on the Switch,
yeah,
the
and you've got
SNK
like
handheld game.
Slot Masters part of that like Capcom arcade collection or whatever.
Yeah, you can buy it
Uh,
for $1.99 or some shit.
yeah, I obviously can download that quite easily, but I bought it because I was like, I just want them to see like someone bought this, um, just in hopes that maybe it would get something moving, but I don't think it'll ever will. Um, with the indie projects, like you just don't know, right? We don't know when they're coming out. We don't know how those are going to go. Um, and yeah, that's the state of wrestling games in 2026.
And the ones that aren't out, you have like the two that people have just hopelessly devoted themselves to saying they're going to be amazing, and we don't know.
Well, UPW is one. That's the other one, the Wrestling Code.
Yeah,
I would not be surprised if that's been cancelled at this point. They haven't updated the Twitter in over a year.
was it?
That's a long ass time.
I remember the last thing I saw from them was they retweeted that Tony Cheney guy, and that was like June of maybe last year.
Let me double check. I thought it was over a year. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But I'll
I
double
don't
check
think
here.
they've posted themselves since like Sabu died. Everything else was just like a couple of retweets of that Tony Cheney guy, I think. But the
Excuse me.
other day,
Yeah,
someone sent me like the do something meme where it's like somebody poking a dead thing with a stick with
I
that
saw
logo, and
that.
I was like,
Yeah.
buddy, that game's been canned.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. The last thing they posted was about Sabu on January, February, March, April, May 11th.
So
And
8
then
months, almost 9.
then they had the New England Fan Fest thing on April 5th. And yeah, other than that, it's just reposts from Tony Cheney. So not a year, I was wrong about that, but still, that's quite a long time. And
Agreed.
remember, but the footage they showed last did not look good.
No, it
So
was fucking Chris Danger or whatever the fuck.
yeah, so I
Did I
don't
ever tell
know.
you why that guy blocked me?
No,
So he made a post about like we grilled the 2K devs to the fullest and held them accountable. And I
you
replied
did
with, yeah, and
not.
I'm fucking 2006 Shelton Benjamin or something. Shelton Benjamin, I think I've talked about this, replied to me with, no, you are not, and then blocked me. And then Chris Danger blocked me, and I was like, the Shelton one kind of hurts. I like Shelton, but the other one, I'm not really surprised.
I I Hunico posted something and I responded because it was like Mystico was calling him a fraud, and I just posted like back like not making fun of Mystico, but I just posted back like Friday, and he blocked me, and I was like, huh, okay. um, I was having a lot of fun on Twitter last night. I do have to say.
No, I saw some fucking high quality shit posting you sent me.
Oh, one dude got really mad at me. So the thing is, Sean Rossap posted a picture of AJ Styles, and he was like, "What does he mean by this, or whatever?" It's just AJ doing the hand signal because I guess he took his gloves off and put them back on. And I circled the A on his tattoo, and then the J, and then the WWE logo on the stage, and I said A3W. The J is actually 3, and this is code for AEW. And people were like out of their minds about it. And this one guy, he's like, when I said, and he's like, AJW, what's that? I'm like, that's All Japan Women, but it's actually A3W. And he's like sending me screenshots of AJ's like Wikipedia explaining the tattoos and all Japan women. And I'm like, well, the internet's not always correct. And then he's like, okay, you're one dumb bitch. I'm done talking to you. No, if you want to be one stupid bitch, that's on you. Even my 6-year-old cousin is smarter than your ass. Don't want as stupid as no, you is stupid as fuck. I'm sorry, not sorry. Oh hell no. Good luck believing whatever you want to believe in. Hashtag blocked. Um, it was funny because right before that he actually followed me. He followed me and it must have accidentally followed instead of blocked. So I was like, oh, that's weird. But yeah, it's people are really weird. It's really easy to get people.
This is why the ad rates are so low, kids.
Over like the dumbest shit too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, oh there's I guess a little bit of action figure news. Zombie Sailor listed, Roadkill. I didn't buy Roadkill. I wanted Roadkill, but I was just like, man, at this point, I kind of just want a shipping update on the fucking Pinnacle collection. If we can get
I
that
hear
going, that'd
you.
be great.
I want my Abby.
Yeah, I want my Abby and my Jeffy, ain't he fucking great? And everybody else. Um, let's see if he's updated the pre-order status. January 31st. So what do we got here? Jeff Jarrett is scheduled to arrive at the warehouse on February 6th, with the remaining figures to follow shortly thereafter. So, Bloodsport final orders are being fulfilled the week of February 1st. Punk arrived on the 31st. Shipping labels generate on the 5th, with orders going out the next day. So Punk will start going out on Friday when Jeff Jarrett will be arriving. Maybe they do hit the fucking mid-February ship window, but I honestly I don't know, man. I want to believe, but I I can't see these being any earlier than the end of February, if I'm just being honest.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm not even sure about that. It's frustrating. It doesn't seem like it's been a while since I've really bought figures, so I haven't gone through a wait like this in a while, and I'm just like, I just want this shit already. I want my Abby. I want to find an electric chair I can put him in, and that's it. Give me my shit, dude.
I I really like the Kabuki and Tenyu figures that KWK is
Oh,
putting out,
yeah,
but at this point,
I ordered them.
I want that Tenyu really badly, but I'm looking at like all of the space I don't have for stuff, and I think I said this to you yesterday. The thing I'm most resigned to collecting this year are the McFarlane Sports Picks articulated figures. More on those in a minute. And as far as wrestling goes, my big thing is O-Ring Heroes.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really have a lot of space either. They're probably gonna go straight in the closet because I'm like, I got all these clothes here that like my dad's gonna be some clothes, and I've got no room for anything. I'm like, I don't even. I've got all these shirts. I don't know where to put this shit. Um, but like when it comes to things like Tenru, it's like I can't. I feel like I have to because it's so rare that you would get his merch. We've had the junk shop dog, which I haven't got, but I'd love to get at some point. Where else are you gonna get that? Like that's not something that would have ever existed at any other time. So it's like, oh god, like I kind of really need this, and it's the same thing with the Muta um, Mattels, and unfortunately, I've only been able to find the red plastic gear here and nothing else. But yeah, it's just one of those things. That's like, would you ever think there'd be a Onita retro? Would you ever think there'd be a Hayabusa? Would you ever think there'd be a Kabuki? And it's like that stuff is so appealing that I can't deny it. And I was disappointed that the Triple Crown wasn't detailed like the actual Triple Crown. It makes me think that he doesn't really have like the licensing, because if he did, like, how could you not take advantage of that? Instead, you've got sort of like these similar to like the WWF Hasbro belt, where it's not exactly detailed, but the designs, the shape and everything is there. It's just that you don't have the actual, uh, what would you say, like actual
It's not sculpted.
plates and
Everything
stuff.
is
Yeah,
decoed on.
exactly. Yeah,
But
it's not like
also,
a
he
Power
mentions
Town
that
or anything.
No, but he mentions it on Fully Posable that like there's only 500 of Tenyu being made, and the
That's
tooling
true.
cost
Yeah.
to
So
do the
you,
3 unique belts would have been crazy.
yeah, it's just not something I thought about. It's just like it's just yeah, I just thought like this is what I want. It wasn't something that I put any sort of logic to, and then I saw it. I was like, oh, that's disappointing, but like still, like, yeah, I'm gonna grab that. I ended up grabbing the black pants kabuki as well, just because it comes with the green mist, and I was like, I don't really want any of the colors. Although I was kind of wanted to get the purple because that was Rumble '92, and I was like, well, if you're gonna fit anything that fits in the WWF collection, that would be the one. But I was like, I really want the green mist, so I'll go with the black pants.
I wanted to get the purple one from Rumble '94 just because like that's the first
94,
Rumble I
right?
saw
Sorry, not
where
92.
him and Tenyu they come in and they try to fuck up Undertaker because every heel in the history of wrestling comes in on that match,
Yeah,
and then
honestly,
obviously they're in the Rumble.
the purple pants kabuki, I just want like a full Hosei Ishigun now. Like, give me like the whole lineup. It'll never happen, but that would be hilarious. Give me Kengo
I am
Kimura and Akira and everybody.
I'm curious when we're gonna see anything Hayabusa related from KWK. I'm assuming
Well,
today's what, February 1st, so probably in 2 weeks, Toy Fair will hear something.
I don't think we talked about it last week, like the stuff he said about Hayabusa's daughter and Epic, right?
Oh, okay. So I think I might have talked on some of this on on Fully Posable on last week's episode about what was said on Fully Posable, but apparently when Sean signed Ayane Izaki, which is Hayabusa's daughter, uh, that was around the time Epic did their Q&A where they're like, "Oh, more FMW talent coming," and he was like, "Oh, hey, do you want to contact them and see what's going on there?" And she contacted them and were like, "Hey, can you please stop? Can you please not make the figure?" Her assumption was the deal with Cello was over, and people have seen the contract, and it's like a complete joke. And Epic's response to her was, "It's already in production. Can we just both make figures of it?" Which it's kind of funny. Like they're still kind of Cella. Uh that scumbag streak is still there. I don't know if the three POA guys responded to what Sean said, but it's a really shitty way to do business if Hayabusa's daughter, who you allegedly have a contract with, did not know that something was in production.
Yeah.
Especially if she was under the assumption the deal you'd already done it, so the deal was over. And um I guess she got so upset that she offered to refund the deposit to KWK because like, well, I told you you could make the figure, but now somebody else is. And he was just like, you didn't do anything wrong. This isn't on you. And he sent an email to Epic, and Epic hasn't responded. And I had heard that Epic got really shitty with Title Run Toys over the Beverly Brothers
Mm.
because Title Run may or may not have wanted to like sync up on pre-order dates so people didn't have to fucking like choose necessarily. Like,
Yeah.
and I guess Epic told them straight up to go fuck themselves. So yeah, kind of fucking nuked any interest I had in buying those Nasty Boys, to be honest.
Maybe it's some like big headedness from receiving a lot of praise for their work. Maybe that's what's happening. Maybe a little bit of ego. I don't know. But not checking in with his daughter before you actually start producing before you start producing the figures, that is real scummy for sure. That's gross. And the fact that she was like offering to, you know, um take back the deal with KWK, that's sad, you know. Poor lady. She didn't, yeah, he's right,
And
she didn't deserve any of that.
he noted she's open to working with basically anybody. The only reason he is in place is like if you're going to produce a figure, you go to him and then he goes to her. She makes the final call. It's basically so people don't pop up like, "Hey, here's our officially licensed Hayabusa," and his daughter doesn't get any.
Do you know when that went into effect? Because he's licensed for UPW, right? So
He's
what?
only for action figures, is
Oh,
my
okay, okay,
understanding.
okay, okay. All right. I was just curious if like he had anything to do with that, but yeah.
I'd be curious if Hayabusa being in that game would be news to Ayane Izaki, because like
Uh, oof.
I would hope that they actually contacted her. But if it was a thing, and I don't know if this ever got confirmed, but if they went through Epic or Cella, I think it might have actually still been Cella at the time, then I'm a little skeptical because they also have Onita.
Yeah, yeah. Ah, huh. That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't want to make any claims out of
I
school on
mean,
that.
it's
I just
possible that they use a connection through Epic to talk to Onita and Hayabusa's daughter. You know, it's
hopefully.
yeah. I mean, we don't know the scenario, but it just
I
sucks that
also remember Epic getting really in their feelings. It might have been the three POA guys. Somebody who was involved with the production of those figures got really in their feelings when people criticized that Flair head sculpt. And
mm,
they were like comparing it to the Zombie Sailor one. And it's like the Zombie Sailor one, I know the exact frame that fucking figure is based on from fucking Mania 8. I know that the epic Ric Flair is Ric Flair just by looking at it, but it's by no means like a dead on likeness.
right.
It's just they seem very weird about any criticism, but they'll share every bit of praise they get, which I guess that's human nature.
Yeah,
But I also just don't fucking like the three POA guys. They're incredibly fucking snarky and incredibly just bitch made.
I'm still on their Facebook for like updates and stuff, and the attempts at comedy are really bad and annoying.
Has anybody brought up the KWK stuff on their Facebook page?
Not that I've seen.
Interesting. But we do have what was I gonna say?
By the way, I got
Okay.
charged for those figures, and I haven't dealt with I ordered them from the fucking ridiculous amount of money. Like I ordered them from Collect and Connect or Connect and Collect. One of the two. I always get them fucking confused, and because they're based in Canada, and $30 shipping. I was like, fucking hell. But
Ugh.
yeah, I got charged for it, and I've never dealt with them before. So I saw the name. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" I'm like, "Is my credit card being stolen? Like, what's going on?" And then, like 10 minutes in, I was like, "Oh, okay, thank God." Um, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to them. Again, just the fact that they exist, I think, is really fucking cool. And
Yeah.
Epic saying Misawa wouldn't sell is a load of bullshit. So someone needs to jump
Yeah.
on that.
If we thought there was a market for Misawa, but you think the market's I mean, maybe the argument is Dark Side of the Ring, we've talked about this before, but like I don't know that I would make an argument that Onita's a much bigger star to Western fans than fucking Mitsuharu Misawa.
If he's made Tenryu, like, can we get a jumbo? Like, his son is active on Twitter.
Just send Jumbo's son a bunch of pictures of white women. He'll sign whatever you want, I'm sure.
I was literally gonna say Mila Jovovich, but yeah, I mean, anyone will do, I guess.
I mean, there was a point where he was just any blonde white woman that's ever existed. Yuji Saruta was about that shit on the timeline.
Yeah, let's make a deal. Let's get it going. I'd love a jumbo. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and I think KWK is probably the one that I would. I don't want to say it like this. I don't know that I trust Epic to do him right. I don't know that I would even trust Zombie necessarily. This is 100% just me because fucking KWK had the CaraPro connection at one point.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think he's the one that would do the best.
Yeah, he's got. Assuming he's got like a collection of all those. He's got them for reference, right? So, like,
And
he seems
also,
like
he had business dealings with them too. He was the one that
yeah,
was trying to like help them sign Hall and Nash and the Road Warriors and Goldberg.
yeah. So, yeah, that'd be very cool. God, Hall and Nash. That's something to think about. What the Cara Pros would have looked like.
I guess the idea was they noticed that people were importing them and they were trying to make like an entry into like the American market. So the thought process was like these guys are all huge stars. Let's fucking sign them, and then Carapro went under.
We could have had a Scott Hall Pro as well as Scott Hall and KOC too. Not funny to think about.
That's the fucking timeline, man. That's the fucking timeline right there.
Holy shit! What was he even doing? And what was his retire even in KOC 2 for? Because he was gone for New Japan. I mean, he left New Japan in 2001.
Had he shown up in Hustle yet?
That's true. He well, no, because it's called Muscle One in that, right? So they're still going off Wrestle One.
Did Scott Hall work Wrestle One? Is my next question.
No. It was only him and Nash against OH Gun and Hustle. I don't think he had worked at Japan at all since his New Japan run in 2001, which is really bizarre to see Scott Hall like that in New Japan. I wonder if it was like a leftover texture from like Red.
Maybe. So the O-Gun versus Outsiders match is May 8th, 2004. For whatever that's worth.
And KOC 2 came out in
September 9th.
So Hustle was around at that point.
Yeah. I mean, Goldberg wrestles Ogawa on January 4th.
Because it's definitely like more in Fire Pro Z, instead of Wrestle One, it's Muscle One, and Muscle One continues over to KOC 2.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe it was just too late for them to like add Hustle stuff. I think Hashimoto has like the Hustle 3, 2, 1 Hustle or something similar to it in the game?
Well, also like licensing Scott Hall, that's we know that they tried to get KOC Red and Green released here. Maybe they thought getting a big American star might get the game coverage in the States or something.
I want to hear like their version of Ready or Not.
Yeah, it probably would have sounded wild.
Have you heard Jimmy Hart's like ripoff on YouTube?
I think you've sent that to me. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so crazy to think about because like, yeah. So Jimmy Hart and Howard Helm, I guess, created a ripoff of Ready or Not for Scott Hall, which I guess he would have used what he was doing, like the whole lone wolf thing in '98. And it was just another thing that's like wild to think about if they had used that song. Would have been cool, but I think at the time he just came out to no music, which sucked. But yeah, interesting find.
Also, speaking of wrestling figure news, the Retro Wrestling Revolution account on Instagram, the guy that did all the like kind of LJN custom sculpts, he got a prototype of Mattel LJN Series 3 Rock, which looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks good.
It's just Rocky doing his corner pose, and I don't know that I'm going to get any of those LJN figures, but I'm very happy that Austin figure does not look as shitty as it did at Comic-Con. And that The Rock, at least unpainted, looks really fucking good too. I'm curious when we start getting belts for these, though.
They seem to have, some idea as to what they're doing with this line. Obviously, they're looking at the old designs and re-releasing them and sort of determining what they should do for the new ones. I think it seems to be going pretty well for them. So it'll be interesting to see, the belts and how far this thing goes.
So that New 80s Revolution YouTube account, they created a Wrestling Figs account and asked Steve, like, what are the possibility of getting the other LJN lines? And Steve Ozer was like, everybody's really hyped. Anything's possible. Here's my thing. Fuck the bendies. Fuck the thumb wrestlers. Matt Cardona has the prototype for basically every one of those articulated figures that we knew was in development.
Yeah.
Hit that motherfucker up. I want the articulated LJN figures. Like, do it as the line we never got and make it a Mattel Creations exclusive. You can charge whatever the fuck you want for them. I'll buy every goddamn one. To have like my King Kong Bundy prototype in actual plastic, that's like that's the end game here. I don't need anything else after that.
I think if they're going to go into anything else, it'll probably be O-ring, right?
I mean, so the way those are constructed was like there's the hook in the body, like the GI Joes. These were going to be basically 5-inch O-ring figures, like the
Right.
Advanced Dungeons and Dragons figures.
Yeah, I mean, it would be cool. It's just that O-ring seems to be the thing right now, and they like sort of seem to follow trends. I mean, at least with the retro,
Yeah.
when the retros came back, for the companies were like, "Oh, we should get on this." So that to me just feels like the next thing that they're gonna get into based on what everyone else is doing.
Well, also, even beyond just wrestling, Super 7 has seen a decent amount of success with the Reaction Plus O rings for G.I.
Yeah.
Joe. I think they just did Back to the Future. They did the Universal Monsters. Um, People are in, they just announced they've got the Invincible license, and Invincible will be part of the Reaction Plus line. I don't even know why they're doing the regular Kenner style reaction figures at this point. You've got the one style people actually kind of give a fuck about now.
Mm-hmm.
Or just do that. I think if that KWK line catches like fire, if it gains a lot of traction, I think it's entirely possible Mattel gets in on the O-ring line. So, and you know what? If Target's this stoked about the LJNs, you don't think whoever that toy buyer at Target is would be stoked on some fucking like mid '80s WWE figures that aren't
Oh yeah,
the 8-inch fucks? Like
yeah,
I could sit here and fantasy book you a series one of that line that's like Cody, Roman, Rhea Ripley, Hogan, fucking Ultimate Warrior, and goddamn Steve Austin, and that shit would do gangbusters. It's never
yeah.
gonna happen, but it would do gangbusters.
It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. And speaking of things that are interesting to see, I got the McFarlane Canadian Olympic team Connor McDavid sports picks figure in. And I also had the NFL lineup leaked to me by somebody that has a wholesale account with McFarlane, and I'm pretty excited about it. We might see something about those at Toy Fair. I'm not entirely sure. But I opened the figure and I said this to you, like, I don't know when this change happened, but like every McFarlane figure I've gotten in the last couple of years is like super smooth out of the box.
Mm.
Like not loose, but like you can just easily pose everything. And like I remember getting the MK11 Scorpion and Sub Zero, and it's like you can't really move those without like you have to put some like force on that shit, even heating it up. Like they used so much paint. Now they don't use as much paint. The plastic feels a little bit different, but these like that figure in hand, like easily posable. I like the paint apps. I think they could be a little bit better, but these are $22 figures, and I'm not going to bitch about a line that's going to give us NHL, MLB, NFL, and NBA 6-inch articulated figures. This is what I've wanted like basically my whole life.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a really cool thing to see. And from the NFL lineup, I'll just nobody's going to listen to this podcast, so it doesn't matter. Troy Aikman and Jerry Rice are in the first set. And I was literally telling one of my friends, like, if the NFL line has like the Deion Sanders, Jerry Rice 2-pack remade, I'm going to lose my shit because I wanted that 2-pack as a kid, even though they were posed. So there's Jerry Rice, and I love Troy Aikman. So like, I told the guy, like, I'll buy those from, like, can I order those from you? And he was like, yeah, just they're not coming out until August. Just get with me before then. And getting the McDavid figure in hand and kind of posing it, like, fuck, I want the entire football series now. I don't want the entire basketball series because too many people in that set that leaked that I don't really care about. But like, there's a couple in the NHL line I want. There's a couple. I think actually there's just one Otani in the MLB line that I want. The NBA and NFL lines are what are going to fucking kill me because those are the two sports I like the most out of the four that McFarlane has. And we saw a really grainy look at the unpainted prototype of the NFL figures. And if they're using the one standard body across everybody, I'm not even that bothered at this point because that's what they're doing with hockey. The standard body that we're getting looks good. The football is magnetic. So like, and the hands are magnetic too. So like you'll be able to pose the quarterback holding the ball out in front of them as they're like dropping back or whatever. But I kind of wish we just had a hand that had the ball molded in, but they're not doing alternate hands with any of these figures. So I'm going to assume um, the basketball line's going to have the magnetic hands going on too. They did show an unpainted Victor Wembanyama prototype, and he's fucking gigantic. Like, he's like super lanky. So they said there's going to be 3 or 4 different bodies they use on the NBA line, 3 or 4 different heights. Which thank fuck, because scaling's been a problem with every McFarlane Toys line going back to like the very first one in like '94 was Spawn. So those are interesting. One of my friends is convinced McFarlane got the AEW license. I know. I talked about the Kyle Peterson thing where he was like, "Oh, AEW wanted more money and Jazzwares didn't see a break-even point." My friend was like, "Well, knowing what I know, AEW might have approached Jazzwares like, hey, we got an offer for this. Can you guys match it?" And that might have been it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some other shit going on here, because going from what we saw we were potentially getting this year to like we're getting Tanahashi and that's like it. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a hell of a way to go out, isn't it?
Making a guy who's not even fucking on the AEW roster.
Yeah, it would have been very interesting if you could have done more of those. That would have been cool.
Yeah, could have got a Shibata if they gave a fuck.
Yeah.
Would have been nice. But
Be curious to see what a McFarlane AEW line would look like.
I'm curious to see the scaling. Like, I'll say this, the articulation that we've got on the sports picks, people would not be happy with that on a $20 wrestling figure line, because it's single joint elbow and knee with like the it's basically, you know what it is? It's the New Japan figures without the ab crunch. So like single joint at the elbow with like rotation, single joint at the knee with rotation, ball joint at the crotch. Like it's very like standard, but also very much like, yeah, this is standard for like years ago. I'm willing to put up with the up with it with the sports picks figures. I'll learn to speak English eventually, because like, what the fuck's the alternative?
Do you think they'd get a Swerve Green Lantern out there?
There's no chance they get that out before Mattel fully takes over the DC license.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. You heard that
Speaking
they're
of
getting an
DC,
Adult Swim show, right?
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, AEW on Adult Swim.
Is it like a cartoon?
Yeah.
I've heard nothing about this. That's okay.
Yeah, it's untitled Adult Swim cross AEW project, written by Nick Collins, story by Nick Collins and Mackay Stahl, based on characters from All Elite Wrestling.
So what you're telling me,
Stahl, sorry, yeah.
What you're telling me is the shit that Vince wanted the Stomp line to lead to in the '90s. Like, Jackson, the WWF really wanted there to be like WWF Stomp comic books and cartoons. You mean to tell me AEW got that shit?
Yeah. Hopefully it's good. You know, it could lead to, you know, them doing.
This is the first American wrestling cartoon since the Hogan one, right?
Well, there was like are you including like the Camp WWE and stuff like that?
Yeah, I forgot about that fucking dumbass show. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and remember there was the
Slam
WCW
City
one that was planned, and yeah, Slam City, but we never got that.
I don't know that was it Slam Force, the animated series for WCW?
It was like, wasn't it like WCW wrestlers in high school or something? There was like drawings of like Bischoff, and I don't know what it was. I can't remember. It's like, I think it was like drawings of like Bischoff and Bret Hart floating around.
Jesus Christ. That's fucking wild. Speaking of DC and Mattel, we saw the look at I think it was like Nuremberg Toy Fair. They had a big wall graphic of what we know are the basic line of DC figures. And before I saw that they didn't have an ab crunch, I messaged you like, "Oh yeah, people need to apologize to Todd, because these are not great." Having a clearer look at them, like the basic quote unquote line, does look pretty good, I think.
Yeah, I don't think they look that bad. I mean, from a design standpoint, I like the Joker. Um,
I like the Batman the most. The Flash looks really good. Robin looks all right.
the Joker with that hairstyle looks more like the Barry. How do you pronounce it? Barry Corgan or whatever from the Batman. Sort of like he's got like a short hairstyle, but um, obviously face wise is nothing. I don't like the Batman that's up top in the original image. I hate that design. What is that? Is that New 52? Like I don't know what
Yeah, I
that is.
think.
I
My
hate
friend
that
Kara
suit.
specifically was like, I think that's New 52, and that's a really crazy design to do. And then there's John Stewart Green Lantern. So people ripped these apart thinking these were going to be the big line, and Steve Ozer
Oh,
from Mattel made the post saying like there's going to be a collector focus line launching in January of next year. So Alex Chen had leaked that they might be doing the WWE thing where they scale the lines and they might do elite or ultimate style figures later. Here's my thing. Skip the fucking elite line and go from the basic line to the ultimates.
yeah.
Price the ultimates 30 or 35 bucks, do whatever you got to do, but we need we don't need the division because at some point with the Mattel elites, some of those elites are not that different from the ultimates.
That's true.
Like you get the butterfly joints and the extra portraits, yeah, but there comes a point where like there's a $10 difference and some of those elites are good enough, and I don't think you see people doing it with Marvel Legends with those maximum figures. Like I don't need the Spider-Man, I have the Renew Your Vows one. And then yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing the collector line because the guy who was responsible for basically everything good that Super 7 did in the last few years, he left specifically to go do these DC figures. So if you
Yeah,
were somebody that really liked those like '03 TMNT figures that Super 7 put out, the guy that designed those is no longer there. He's working on DC.
very curious to see them. Like I don't know if I'd get any like designs that I already have, but like as things go on, there's gonna be things that obviously McFarlane wouldn't have made. Um, so I'm really curious to see what they look like. I also in like regards to DC, but that the McFarlane that in the leaked list there was Batman '89 Two Face, which is Billy D. Williams that we never got in the movies, and I think that is really really cool that they're making that.
Yeah.
That might be one that I have to pick up because that idea is just I think that's fantastic.
Can I just say it really sucks that he really started to lean into like doing comic figures heavily when he decided or when he found out fuck I'm losing the license.
Yeah, it's funny how that sort of thing works, isn't it?
Yeah, I also it's not clear what exactly he fucking is going to keep when the split happens.
Yeah, hopefully
So like
we'll get more details on that as through the year, I guess.
so what I read is that he's going to keep DC Direct, which is like the 6-inch animated series line, the Super Friends line he's doing, um, in the statues. Everything else goes to Mattel.
What's really the difference between DC Direct and the multiverse? Because I haven't had any
They're
DC
6-inch
Direct,
scale.
so just a little bit smaller.
Yes.
Okay,
So like those Batman animated series figures that you're never going to be able to get because they were Target exclusives, those are like
right.
an inch shorter than even the regular Batman task figure he did back in like 2019, which I have somewhere in this house. Um, the newer ones are slightly smaller, which if I would have known that, I might have tried a little bit harder to get them.
I actually have
Because
a Batman task, and maybe that's DC Direct because the multiverse one looked really strange. Like the proportions, I have one that's like the proportions look like they're from the show, as opposed to like the multiverse one, which just looked all messed
the
up to
really
me.
skinny legs and like the really
Yeah,
giant fucking torso.
yeah, exactly.
I um I suspect we are going to see um the 7-inch or the 7-inch the collector focus line at San Diego Comic Con. I feel like I feel like they're not going to hold that one off until October in New York, especially if those things are launching in January. Man, I just do not see.
Yeah, I think San Diego's is likely.
Um, as far as the first series of those, I think everybody needs to be a little realistic about this. You are not going to be able to find those fucking things in stores. Ordering them online is going to be a complete fucking shit show.
Yeah. God, I wonder what that means for Canada, or especially this area when the output here for WWE figures is so poor.
Yeah, because McFarlane being Canadian probably actually cares about his distribution a little bit. Because he mentions
Yeah.
that every time he talks about the hockey figure, he's like, I'm Canadian, and it's like, yes, Todd, we know, we know. The dry sense of humor is a dead giveaway, buddy.
You can't get shit all here when it comes to WWE. Like, it's disgusting. So that could be an issue for us. I mean,
So,
you can get
do
stuff
you
on
think they
Amazon, but
do like 3 or 4 figures per wave for the collector line? If say they're like ultimates, do they do 3 like WWE,
yeah, I think so. I think that's what they'll probably end up doing.
or do they pare it down to be a little bit more like Legends and they do 6 figures? Because somebody asked if we could get
Mhm.
new Teen Titans figures in the Mattel line, and Steve flat out said, not in this line, but maybe in the collector line. So what that says to me is that what Alex Chen reported is accurate, and they're only going to be doing the evergreen, most popular looks in the basic line, which makes sense. You always want to have an easily identifiable version of Batman pegs.
Right,
Same thing
yeah.
with Superman. Same thing with Wonder Woman, Robin, Flash. You want the most recognizable version of them possible on the pegs, no questions asked. Um, but with the collector line, you can get a little bit goofy.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Excuse me, to see what they actually choose. You've got so many goddamn designs that you could go with. What are they going to end up for the first line?
Yeah, and I mean, I suspect we'll see a few. We'll see a few more looks at these in 2 weeks at Toy Fair.
Yeah.
I say 2 weeks. It's literally next weekend. Today's the fucking not next. No, it is 2 weeks. Yeah, it's 2 weeks. I'm just the next time we record this podcast, there will be news from fucking Toy Fair. I'm sure.
Yeah.
There will be no Power Town news because Power Town is not real. It cannot hurt you anymore. It has already taken your money and it has gone away.
Yeah, Power Town. Yeah, there's like Tumbleweed going through that town right now. Yeah, it's dead as dead can be. My doctor
Yeah.
tells
Real
me.
quick though, with the DC collectors line, the first wave has to have Superman, right? Like he's missing out on
Oh
like the
yeah.
basic line wave one.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I would imagine Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, those are the big three. The
Trying to
other
think
half of
of
that set,
like
you could do whatever the fuck you want.
who was DC really trying to push, at least in I don't really have a good idea of the comics, but I have an idea in terms of like movies. It'd be like
That's
obviously
another thing I was wondering. Do you think Mattel's going to go as hard with doing the movie stuff as McFarlane did? Because it seemed like people were of two minds with that. People really hated that he was showing the movies the same commitment that Hasbro was showing the MCU like 6 or 7 years ago. And people kind of do just want the comic figures on the pegs. I think there's a balance you could strike, but like Todd went way the hell and fucking the wrong direction with it.
I think DC will really push for them to like do a lot with the movies. Um, I mean, we'll see. We don't also like that business is going to change, right? Because they're by all accounts are still going to be bought by Netflix. So,
Yeah,
well, I mean, we'll see how things
not good.
pan out. Oh, it's better than Paramount. I mean, he's taking them to court now. Goddamn, David Ellison never gives up.
I
He's left
just
like
I don't
he's
like
left.
the idea of like these things fucking merging. Like
Oh no,
consolidation is not going to make things better.
no,
It is
none
going
of
to
it.
make things
And
worse.
none of it's good. But when you think about the options, you sort of have to. If it's going to happen, so you have to think what can you get? You can sort of when it comes to these corporations, like what's the worst and what's the best options, and there's obviously this worse than the Netflix. But yeah, like I said, like the business is going to change, right? Like what happens to what do they want to do with the figures? What's going to happen if the games industry, if anything, because they don't seem to give a shit about that. But again, when I think about the movies and like who they're pushing for the movies, you're gonna obviously have Superman and Batman. Supergirl's coming out this year, so they seem to want to make a big push for her. There's that Miracle Man animated show that takes place in the DCU, and that's gonna have Darkseid in it. So there's a whole bunch of crazy shit that they've got coming up. I mean, we'll see what happens.
It's going to be interesting to see how the movie stuff sells.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah. I don't know about. I'm very curious about some of the stuff. Like, what's a merchandise gonna look like? Who's gonna do like a Clayface stuff? Because that's gonna be like an R-rated film, and like I don't know what's gonna happen with that. I feel like there's gonna be like some like high-end statues or something with that movie. Like I don't know what the design's gonna look like at the end of the day, but it doesn't feel like there's gonna be like a lot of. You wouldn't think there'd be like a lot of Clayface stuff on the shelves. It'd be more like online orders and high collectibles. But yeah, we'll see.
it also makes me wonder if, like, because remember the thing with the Joker talk show set was the
Right.
guy who
Yeah.
produced the movie, like, basically grandfathered McFarlane into having to fucking, um, it has to go for, it has to be like a high end
That's
collectible and has to be a
expensive as
certain
shit.
price point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, how does that play into this? Like, will we have a similar like broke brain fucking idea for the? I mean, when does that movie come out?
Clayface?
Yeah,
I think it comes out, is it like October this year or something like that? I'm gonna double
I would
check.
imagine McFarlane's going to be the one making stuff for that thing because he has the license through the end of the year.
It comes out September 11th. Never forget.
Ugh.
Clayface.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm dropping a horror movie on the 25th anniversary of 9/11.
They may change it. They can obviously switch things around, but
Yeah, they have. It's been very frustrating.
it'll be interesting to see that movie as a whole because it's supposed to be like this big body horror, like low budget R-rated horror movie. So I'm very curious just to see what happens with that. I think it will be a hit. I mean, if it's low budget, the horror movies do very well, so they should be able to get their money back on it.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
I
hopefully it's good. Most of all,
I'm wondering, and it's gonna like gnaw at my brain for months, like what those Mattel collector figures are gonna look like. Because there's a high degree of likelihood they look as good as Marvel Legends. There's also a reasonable degree of likelihood that I'm not going to be happy no matter what they show.
do you think they'll have like guns and stuff? Because a big thing with the Mattel line is like none of the characters had guns.
Yeah, they wouldn't let Todd make guns. That was like a DC
Yeah.
edict. I don't know. Um, I maybe is the short answer. I
So
don't
strange
I
because
don't
like
know. Like,
you can have a sword and all this other shit, but you can't have guns.
yeah, it's weird. Um, I would like to see it. I just don't know what the mentality is
Yeah.
because the no guns thing. I have the Batman task like 5 points Mezco figures, and like Joker doesn't have one either in that
Yeah.
line. I don't think Two Face does either. So maybe. Um, I'm curious to see like if they do Batman in Wave One, like what look do they go for? Because obviously we don't know what the basic line is going to be called. I suspect we'll find out um, on the 14th at Toy Fair, maybe a little bit before that. But I can't imagine they're going to retread the look. But I also can't imagine doing any other Batman look. Will we get wired capes? Because that's a big deal. Todd has made them standard at the
I can
$25
see that.
price point. Like, does Mattel go for it with that? If they don't, I think they're going to piss a lot of people off. But also, their designer came from Super Seven, where they did wired capes on some stuff too.
Yeah.
So, it's there's going to be a lot of really interesting shit over the next like 18 months in the toy industry because
Yeah.
they announced that Super 7 partnership with Skybound for Invincible. that led to people speculating what's happening with Jada, but Jada is obviously releasing their Invincible stuff because they just showed packaging mock-ups in London.
Mm-hmm.
So like what are those Super 7 figures going to look like compared to the Jada figures? I'm going to go out on a limb and guess probably not great. Um the Reaction Plus stuff, I think I said it to you, that's like the most interesting thing for me with the Invincible line. Like, yeah, the first line I can think of like fucking commercially released O-ring superhero figures, and it's not Marvel and it's not DC. It's fucking Invincible. Marvel, who are with Hasbro, who fucking will do O-ring figures occasionally. How was that Marvel Legends 3.75 line they did a few years ago? How the fuck was that not O-ring? Fuck, what if Kenner made Marvel figures in the 80s? Fucking what if Hasbro made Marvel figures in the 80s? That should have been the edict.
We should get some
Jesus Christ.
He-Man O-ring figures. That would be cool.
Yeah, Super 7 had the license to do He-Man stuff for years. I keep wondering why we don't have Turtles ones too. Because Super 7 does a lot of Turtle stuff.
You saw that trailer, right?
Oh, the He-Man trailer? Yeah. I had a
It was
friend
alright.
that he was really excited, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch it with sound on. It looks like what I would imagine a Motu movie would look like in 2026.
Yeah.
Heavy use of CGI. It's got the weird fucking lighting that every movie's got to have now.
It's a director
Designs that are
from Bumblebee, which I thought was pretty cool. So, I mean, I think it looks
in like
okay.
the figures for that movie look really good, both the
Oh
five and a
yeah,
half inch and the regular line. Those look awesome.
yeah, and I mean, a plus of the movie is that the designs are quite close to the original toys and stuff. So, I mean, that's really cool.
I
It
just
just
wish Jared Leto wasn't involved. That makes me not want to
Oh,
watch
of
the
course,
movie at all.
everyone. There's not a single person I think that's happy with him being in the movie. But at least it's just his voice, right? Unless there's like a fucking flashback and we see his face, that would be shit. Um, I know the main dude that's playing He-Man. I think it's so funny because you see him like they show him on Earth first before, and he's wearing that pink shirt, and you can just tell under the shirt he's like jacked as hell. And then you see him in like the He-Man outfit at the end. But yeah, I think all the figures look cool. Yeah, the designs, like I said, like really close. Battle Cat, like I saw the figure with like the armor on him and stuff, and I was like, oh, that's just He-Man. That's Masters of the Universe. So we'll see how it's like, but no dick purse is my only problem. If he had that, I think it would have been.
Well, that's Motu 2000s.
Yeah, you've got to wait for the sequel, for
You
that
gotta
sort
wait
of
for him to
stuff.
reboot the franchise in 20 years.
You should have like a dick person just like throw salt out of it or something.
Yeah,
That's how he.
pocket sand, but it's a
That's
different
a.
kind.
That's how he defeats Skeletor, just throwing like salt at him. Why is his? You notice like the like the more expensive figure, his skull is more like yellowish, but in the standard one, it's more like the white, and it looks more like white in the movie. I thought that's kind of weird.
Yeah, that is a little strange.
Hmm.
I saw the 5.5 inch figures; those look good too. Oh, to circle back to the McFarlane, I mentioned the NHL line.
Hmm?
Uh, I think it's Sidney Crosby, Alex Ovechkin, Connor Bedard, Connor McDavid, which is just a repaint in an Oilers uniform. Lane Hudson, and I'm drawing a blank on who the other. I think there's another player from the Canadiens in that set. Um, yeah, I'm drawing a blank on it, but I thought the leaf on the McDavid figure, the Olympic one, I thought that was sculpted on because of how it was painted. Like
Hmm.
the paint job on it gives the illusion of it being like 3D, but no, it's just very, very weirdly nicely painted. So they're just gonna repaint that body a million different ways. And again, it's hockey. It's not like the NBA or even the NFL where there's like just massive. You don't have like a 350-pound motherfucker in the National Hockey League, as far as I'm aware.
I have no
So
idea. I haven't watched it in forever.
the last thing I watched before I paused my HBO Max subscription was an NHL game. I think it was the Red Wings and the is it Red Wings and Maple Leafs? Might have been.
I don't think I've watched since like regularly since Fox was doing the blue pass, red shoot lights on the pucks. I don't know if you ever saw, like, in Canada they used to run a commercial for Molson beer, I think it was, that was making fun of Fox doing that effect. They used to play it all
I
the
don't think
time.
I've seen that. No.
Do you remember that at all? Like when they used to do that?
Yes.
Yeah, it was funny.
These 5.5-inch figures look cool, I suppose. I don't know if this is gonna lead to like Motu being popular with a younger audience. I know that's been like the fucking thing for years. Was like they did the 2000s revival smack dab in like the middle of the anime boom, and it didn't take. And I don't think there's a timeless aspect to Motu like there is with the turtles,
Right.
because the turtles are going to be cool forever. You can't fuck the turtles up. Like they're always, every generation of children until the end of time is going to see those fucking things and just be like, oh yeah, no, this is cool. Motu's like a weird like time and place thing. Like sword and sorcery stuff was really popular. It's I I can only go with the teenagers I work with as a frame of reference, but none of them seem like they're going to be too stoked on this fucking movie. And I can't imagine
Yeah.
like the little kids would be either.
I mean, it'd be cool if like Sword and Sorcery would make a comeback. I they had that Deathstalker movie out last year, which was a surprise of remake. A friend and I, we always watch like those old. We've watched a lot of those, like Amazons and Sword and Sorcery movies from the '80s, and kind of fucking wild, you know. Yeah, it'd be cool to see that stuff make comeback, and it is a hard sell for. I mean, these days, unless it's something like Lord of the Rings, but that's quite different than. But when I think of like Sword and Sorcery, I just think of like Conan and a lot of nudity. But that's because I watch all those '80s movies. So
They're doing a Blu-ray release of the original Faces of Death.
they're making a new one with what was it, like Charlie XO? Is that how you say her name? I think she's in it.
Oh,
So it's like I've never watched those movies. That's gross. I don't want to see people eating a monkey's brains, even if it is fake. So I
I just
yeah.
remember the one I rented. It was like insert object here acts as a giant blender, and it was just like it was the appeal of it is the same thing as like the appeal of fucking Saw. Like I just want to watch really awful things happen to people.
But yeah, but the thing I can watch Saw knowing that everything like I can watch like Chainsaw Massacre and everything knowing that everything I'm watching is fake. But like the idea of that there's some footage in that, especially animal abuse, that's real. It's just like I'm not down with that shit.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. I will say.
I've read
Um,
that. I don't even want to see fake acts of animal abuse. That's I nah.
yeah, I I saw that. I think Arrow's doing the movie The Killer on 4K. I'm wondering if that's going
Right.
to get a stateside release or if that's one of those you've got to go with the super overpriced fucking Shout Factory release.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I ordered City on Fire from Grove, GRUV, and
Yeah, I've heard it
every
Grub and Groove. I don't know which one it actually fucking is.
everyone's like, get it from there. It's always cheaper. Then it went up on Amazon.com. That and the turtles, and like the prices were like the same or a little bit less on Amazon. So I was just like, makes more sense just to go with Amazon, right? So I ended up canceling them from Grove and then got them from Amazon. But I don't know. I know you've talked about like we've talked about it before when it comes to like Shout Factory and Arrow. I follow this like martial arts Hong Kong cinema account, and they always say like the Shout releases are the best. I think it was Shout, but like I don't know. Honestly, if I was watching, I probably wouldn't even notice a difference.
I want to get like the hard boiled 4K, but it's so fucking expensive. And I
I'd
also
love to get
understand the
that too.
licensing cost for these things is like astronomical. Oh, Arrow's releasing the killer. Looking on Shout's website right now, they did it. They did a 4K of it too. So I'm willing to bet that the Arrow version is going to be this licensed out to them.
Did you see the remake that was done like last year
Of what?
of the killer?
No.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
I still have John Woo's Stranglehold, and it's still installed somewhere on my Steam Deck. I don't know where because I got it on GOG, and I don't know
Yeah,
how
me
to
too.
actually. I don't know how to actually fucking get it to where I can play it because apparently once you get it like loaded into your Steam library, it just works.
So you just add it as like a non-Steam title to your Steam library.
I couldn't find the install folder or whatever the fuck. I was
Gotcha.
told you have to download some shit to install it a different way, like wine or something.
I see. Because yeah, the GOG, it doesn't have controller support, but like if you're able to run it for Steam, maybe that's a way to get it going. I don't really know. Well, I bought it because it was like $2 or whatever it was, and I was like, hell yeah! And
Yeah, it's about as much as I paid for it.
I started to run it, and then it was like, oh, no controller support. I was like, oh god damn it! I just can't play games with a keyboard and mouse. I've never have other than like AWR and stuff like that. So it's like I'm not used to it. I just can't do it. So I need a controller to play it with. Now I
Also,
could.
shout outs to fucking Stranglehold being the game that they built TNA Impact on top of.
Do you see that it looked like they were going to do a sequel that was like Stranglehold and the Wheelman?
I fucking wish.
Like I don't know if that was going to end like what the actual game was going to be, but I think they were using the models of Tequila and Vin Diesel's character from the Wheelman and like the footage that's out there. That would have been wild if it actually was those two games crossed together.
Yeah. I I've always had a weird interest in like the Hong Kong stuff, and by weird I mean like I think about it really frequently for like 3 days, and then I don't think about it again for like 2 years. Um,
Yeah, I went through my Hong Kong action movie phase. Like I think like everyone when you start watching a lot of movies as like a teen, you go through these phases. So I went through like the Hong Kong action movie phase, the kung fu phase, like the Tarantino phase, and yeah, I watched like City on Fire like forever ago, and stuff like Hard Boiled and The Killer and all that. And it turns out it's really good shit.
yeah, I'm sitting here. So I guess Shout does stuff through Groove now, and I'm
Yeah,
sitting here looking at like there's a T Long David Chiang collection, and the box art's really cool, and it's like fucking 12 discs.
nice.
It's like yeah, like 12 movies. So like at the Kmart in the town that I work in, back when that still existed, I got a gift card for Christmas. I went and bought this big fucking like Hong Kong movie collection. It's all discs and paper sleeves stacked on top of one another.
Yeah.
And it's they have Bruce Lee on the cover. Bruce Lee don't appear in a fucking single one of those things.
They would always do shit like that back in the day.
And I watched a bunch of them and I'm like, yo, where the fuck Bruce at? I'll see Bruce.
Yeah, my mom would go to like the store and get me like a $1 Jackie Chan VHS, and it was like a movie where he's like a background character in or something. Um, we need more like Hong Kong inspired video games, like Acts of Blood. I'm really looking forward
We
to
need
that.
somebody to dig up fucking the licensing rights for Stranglehold and do a fucking remaster. That's what I just a simple, quick and dirty fucking get it out so I can play it without having to do too much remaster.
If I really wanted to play it, I've got my 360 right here. I could just play it instead of just playing it on my PC. So I might just do that one day. But like, yeah, I want these like classic movies to be shown up a bit more in games and stuff. Like, there was some new Samsung footage that was released a few days ago. Looked a bit janky in spots, but still very cool. And that's more of like an American I think like 70s, 80s inspired action movie in Hong Kong, but that's something I really want to play as well.
I did not realize the first Slam Dunk has a 4K release.
I have that, yeah.
It's weird. I'd never heard anything about this.
Yeah, I got that from I think I ordered off Crunchyroll. Um, I've never watched it yet, and it's funny because it's also on Netflix, which I have Netflix, and the first series is on the original series is on Netflix as well. And I started downloading like a bunch of the games, but a lot of them aren't translated, so it's a bit rough. Um, yeah, that's something I need to finish. Slam Dunk is a cool show. There was actually an English recording, but they didn't do it for the whole series. They only did so many episodes, and then for the rest, it's just like the Japanese version with subtitles.
I read the first volume of Slam Dunk. It's a pretty cool book from what I saw of it.
Yeah, the show is pretty fun too. It's
I
funny
need to
though because
finish Invincible at some point.
it's like Japanese basketball players, and some of them are like really tall, and it's like I don't know if I've ever seen a tall Japanese basketball player.
Oh, there's the one guy that's in the NBA, Hachimura.
Uh,
He's like 6'6".
they were all like some of them are like redheads and stuff, and I was like, is this supposed to be like an American school? I mean, no, it's like these are Japanese characters. Like, oh, okay, that's cool.
And the main protagonists, their jerseys are very clearly based on the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah,
That was like the first thing I noticed. Like, yeah, no, I know what the fuck's going on here in a way. You're not fooling me, buddy.
no, like the episodes I've seen are very fun, so I definitely need to finich that. I like Berserk really took me out. I had a whole list of things I was watching, and then I watched the last two episodes of Berserk, and I was like, I need to stay away from anime for a bit.
I need to read more of Berserk, but also it's a very very dark book.
Have
There's
you
a lot of
seen the
fucked up stuff that happens. I've only read the manga.
God? Like, eh, I know I mentioned this the other week, but it's like watching it. It's like okay, this has like a sword and sorcery like Middle Ages type show. This is pretty cool. Getting into it, and then like the second to last episode is just like, what the hell is happening? And like the last episode is like, this is some of the most fucked up shit I've ever seen. And just yeah, the soundtrack's really good. I'll say that. I downloaded that for sure. I was like, this shit rules.
I I watched an episode of what's on Crunchyroll. I think it's like the Golden Age arc or whatever.
Right.
And that was pretty direct with what I read from the bit of it I saw in the. It's a
Mhm.
really cool fucked up book. Daisuke Ikeda used the '97 show's intro,
Yeah.
um, intro
Pen pals,
song,
right?
which was "Yep, Tell Me Why" by the Pen Pals.
Yeah, it's very like uh mistranslated, but it gets stuck in your head. There's actually the I can't remember the musician that does like the rest of the soundtrack, but he's got a song called Forces, which is like really fucking cool. That should be someone's entrance theme, and it's not, and I don't understand why. Um, but there's a fan edit out there that combines like all of the series into like 3 hour blocks to make it feel more like the manga, like scene by scene, I guess. Um, so that's pretty fucking nuts. I don't know what his name is because in the '97 series it's Guts, but like I was playing the Dreamcast game and they called him like Gatsu, or so I'm like, what is
Well,
this dude's name?
Guts,
Okay, good.
um, because Guts.
Ah, but that's weird though. Like, why didn't they just call him Guts in the Dreamcast game?
If it was localized, it might have been localized by an idiot, like
I didn't.
Holly being Hori in Metal Gear Solid.
I see. There's a translation on uh the ROM's mega thread, like a ROM translation. So I was like, oh, so there mustn't have been an English version. And then I'm like reading, like, no, it's called Guts Revenge, and I was like, what? So it does exist. I guess they just wanted like the Japanese voices with like English subtitles. So they made a translation. But yeah, there was an English language version of it as well.
I've seen some gameplay of those. I have not played them.
I was getting frustrated with the Dreamcast game because there's a lot of like small walkways and my sword would just keep hitting the wall and I was like, this is annoying. Um I know there's a PS2 game and there's a game on Steam as well. And I want to say the Dreamcast game and the PS2 game are both developed by Ukes. And I think the PS2 game and the uh current PC game they're more like Dynasty Warriors inspired. I see that they're re-releasing the City Hunter PC Engine game on Steam as well, which is kind of surprising. And they're adding the theme song "Get Wild" to it, which is cool. I'm down with that.
I'm sending you an image. Big Rubber Guys Rougeau Brothers are available until February the 28th for anyone who wants to give the majors money.
So, did I see a video recently of like the Rougeaus working against Santo?
That sounds kind of wild.
There was a video somewhere of like the Rougeaus, and I don't know if it was Mexico or Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Um, you know what I need? I need somebody to convince Dark Horse to fucking put out those Blade of the Immortal 3-in-1s again, because I really don't want to buy the hardcovers. I don't have the room for the hardcovers.
Yeah.
Like oh god, there's a new Kagurabachi volume coming out this week. I probably have that ordered at the comic shop. Kagurabachi is really good from what I've read of it.
What's that?
It's a manga about a guy whose dad made these swords that ended the fucking war, and he's trying to get them shits back. That's like a really simplified version of the story.
Hmm.
And it's got like insane artwork. It's very fast paced. I looked it up on YouTube once I saw the first cover, and apparently that's like the new big manga from Shonen Jump. And I guess that Horse Girl anime mobile game that people really like, that game might be funding the fucking development of the Kagurabachi anime. So I need the company that is making those like hundreds of millions of dollars off that Horse Girl game to just license a fucking wrestling game real
Yeah.
quick. Just like go get Spike
Please.
Chunsoft and a couple wrestling licenses, and we can heal the world.
Please and thank you.
It would be great.
I'm trying to look at this, find this Rougeau match that I saw, and I can't find it anywhere. I'm just trying to find out matches that they had outside of WWF, and I don't see anything listed, and it's very frustrating.
I don't see any other noteworthy action figure news, honestly.
No, I think that was pretty much it.
Mitch is doing Just Incredible. I just saw that.
Oh yeah, he's doing Aldo Montoya as well, and he said like this is war, man of war. And I think he's obviously referencing the zombie sailor figures there too.
Yeah, he's a little mad that Zombie might actually beat him to the punch. Man.
No one's talking about those Godwins, are they?
No, I saw some people saying like, no, in hand these are perfectly okay. I did see the video of the unpainted like Raven head sculpt, and like, yeah, you know what? That might look a little bit all right, but the second you put any fucking paint on that, it's gonna look like shit.
Yeah, it's the really type of thing I need to see finished. By the way, I found the match. It was 1990. It was actually WWC. It was Super Medicos against the Rougeaus. It wasn't Santo. It was the white mask that fooled me.
There were also renders shown of like Kurt Fuller, Sean Mooney, and Lord Alfred Hayes. The thing with The thing with Mitch's stuff is these renders are not a good indication of what the actual fucking figures are going to look like
Yeah, it's
at all.
it's a cool idea of having Al Hayes and Sean Mooney in that scale.
Yeah, I don't trust Mitch to be the guy that actually puts those out. And I guess once everything goes out, we're going to be getting the Arsenio Macho Man and the rest of the green card waves. So like Aldo, Godwin, Sparkplug, and Skip.
You know what? If you're doing that, you should make an Arsenio Hall figure.
I mean, unironically, I'd buy one.
That'd be really cool.
Sit your Hulk Hogan down with him and have him lie about doing steroids.
You needed like a Jason Voorhees retro as well in that case.
I I like what Zombie does, but like I said earlier, man, I just want my Pinnacle collection figures. I want the pre-order for New Jack to go up, and then I need everything to just not interest me until the O-Ring Heroes and the McFarlane stuff comes out.
Yeah, his I mean, I guess it's cool that he's doing non-wrestling stuff, but it's like I find it like the least interesting stuff he's doing is he's doing those Silent Hill figures, which design-wise are probably going to be good, but like that movie is apparently really bad. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to do.
Yeah, I got zero fucking interest in the non-wrestling stuff. Like the Silence of the Lamb thing is like really funny. In the
Yeah.
not Evil Dead, the Army of Darkness figures look really cool. I don't have any interest in Hasbro. Like the Bruce Lee ones, as far as the non-wrestling stuff goes, those were the most interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Because the idea of like if you take him out of the box, you can pose Bruce Lee with Andre the Giant. Like, oh yeah, there's a non-zero chance that Bruce Lee lived long enough. We would have saw a movie with those two.
Yeah, that's true.
But like, yeah, I don't care about getting Army of Darkness in this scale. And I also understand, given how detailed his paint apps and everything are, doing those at 6-inch scale probably wouldn't be fucking feasible.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting idea to toy with, but I don't think it's just that when you think of figures that look like that, you just think of wrestling and anything else. It's like just you have a hard time being interested. At least that's my view of it.
Yeah, like the Hasbro WWF, it would be like some like the fucking non-wrestling big rubber guys. I don't give a shit that you did Rambo.
Yeah,
If LJN would have acquired the Rambo license in the 80s, they would not have done that with it.
come to that Rocky one. Remember, like Malone store was advertising like I had like a prototype of a Rocky LJN, and we never heard anything about that again.
Yeah, I've been wondering about those for a while now.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what's become of them or hasn't become of them.
Did you see that boxing match yesterday with the boxer's wig getting knocked off?
No.
Yeah, they said somebody's gonna get their wig split, and it turned out it actually happened.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he gets punched, and his hair just flies off his head.
I wonder when we're going to see the Aja Khan KWK figure.
Hopefully not too long. That'll be a fun one to see.
Looking on the wrestling figure database, I completely forgot he showed a prototype of Haystacks Calhoun.
Oh God, that's right. Yeah.
I'm assuming that was one of those he got because he talked about it on the fully posable. The stuff with like Kamala, he really regretted he got bad advice and like he would never fucking go that route again.
Mm.
Um, he did also. I feel like I recapped it last week, but I don't care. We'll get out of here in a minute. But he did also say there's a couple more names for O-Ring Heroes Series 1 being revealed during the Fig Heel stream. I'm curious if we see the renders. I know the pre-orders are supposed to go up mid-2026. I would at least, if I was him, I'd have the renders of like Brody and I mean Brody and Berserker are going to have parts overlap. We both know they're going to. I would have them ready, and I'd have Jake ready too because those were the first 3 announced.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing those, and we'll see how long Barry Horowitz can take up the stream this time.
I'm also curious to see like because I recapped that whole fucking podcast to you as I was listening to it. It does seem like the Hasbro ring is like the blueprint for the ring that he's doing, because they asked about a title belt and he's like, now we're talking. And
Just
then
on
they brought up like an American flag.
like a smaller scale.
Yeah. I would
Yeah.
imagine slightly. Honestly, the Hasbro ring's pretty much perfectly sized for like GI Joe style figures. Maybe the ropes are a little bit too tall.
Yeah, but I feel like for a line like this and like an independent company, you maybe want to do just something that's less detailed and smaller in size.
I imagine it will be. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. But I'm looking forward to seeing it because Hebner comes with it. Will Hebner be carded? Will he be bagged? Like if it was like an actual '90s playset, he wouldn't be carded.
And
That's
I'm
one of the
guessing
things I
he'll probably have like the classic WWF like blue shirt and bow tie.
I think in the picture when they announced him, he had the black and white ref shirt on. So I
Oh,
don't know.
really? Okay.
Yeah,
So that
he
makes
had
me
like
wonder
just a
what the
black
ring's
and
gonna be
white.
like. Because
I
like,
imagine red, white, and blue ropes is going to be a must because he's leaning into the GI Joe like red, white, and blue stripe under the logo.
yeah, well, in that case, I wish Hebner was more like pre '96. You know?
Yeah. Um, he also did confirm like accessories, so I'm guessing he mentioned Jake with the snake bag with at least one snake. I'm gonna guess Berserker's gonna have the shield and the sword. He said if there is a helmet, it's probably not going to be removable on this one. Brody probably vest and chain. Doesn't make any sense not to load him up too. I don't know what the fuck Bad News Allen's going to come with unless he's going to come with the sewer rat too.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it feels like the obvious one, I guess. I think he's still using the same sculptor for those that he's using for the retro line, which those figures are good now. It's a far cry from like the PN News and the who was the other like first one he did
Max
that
Moon?
really Mantar.
Oh, I have those. I don't think they're very bad at all. I mean, they're
I
not on
think
the.
they look really like cartoony. I guess is
Yeah,
my biggest issue with
yeah, I
them.
guess. I mean, obviously they're not on the uh the scale of like zombie or epic, but I thought that for our first series, like I've seen worse. Like the Paul Orndorff from Title Belt was
Those
a really
title
bad
run
one.
figures, the more and
Title
more I
run,
look
sorry.
at them, the more and more I'm like, God, they suck.
They've gotten better too though. Like the Jumping Bomb Angels look really good. Um,
I
somebody
need to see
else.
samples of them and not the renders, honestly.
I saw that their Adrian Adonis is out there, right?
Yeah, they. I guess they did do a biker Adrian after all, after telling me they
Yeah, they
wouldn't be
did.
doing it,
Yeah, yeah.
which is fucking lame.
I saw that on Connect and Collect or Collect and Connect, whatever the hell it is. There's three. There's like there's two adorable Adrian. Like there's a limited edition one, and then yeah, there's the Baker one as well. I think they look good.
I guess Epic showed off factory samples of the Beverly Brothers. The right arm on whatever one is the clothesline arm is like people bang on zombies' arms for being too long. Goddamn, buddy.
Remember when they teased Vader?
Yeah,
Like what happened to that? What happened to that? What happened to the Galoob line?
every time they do a Q&A now and they get asked about it, they just say they have no updates.
Hmm.
So they also said production images of the Nasty Boys to follow in December, and they never posted production
Nice.
images of the Nasties. So yeah, I don't know. I don't. After the stuff with like Hayabusa's daughter, I feel way less compelled to fork over money to them. That's
Yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
scummy shit. It's a shame too because I really like the way those Nasty Boys looked, but eh, shit happens.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and I guess having said that, is there anything else? Because I feel like we've talked about everything there is to
Nothing
talk about.
nothing important, but I I just saw that Evan Hanley posted up animations of an unmade The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly game, which is something I never knew was a thing. So that's neat.
You had me fired up when I heard Evan Hanley. I was like, Mayhem 2, baby.
I wish, but I just saw that and I thought that's a neat thing. Who knew about that? Remember that there was the GI Joe Cobra? No, not GI Joe, not Cobra. Snake Eyes game, like the Rocksteady guys were supposed to be working on. We haven't heard anything of that. Remember there was like art of that Escape from New York game. Like, where is all this shit? But anyway, I just wanted to bring that up because I thought it was a neat find.
I imagine that Snake Eyes game got fucking shit canned.
That seems like it. I mean, we haven't even. But that was their first game, right? Like, we haven't heard anything about what they're doing, and it was exciting because it's like these Rocksteady people. Like, what happened? Where are they?
Yeah, Gakdaw, when I brought that up to him, Gakdaw was like, yeah, no, this is they're lying in this article right here. I think the person they claim was like a director on Arkham, he was like, that motherfucker was not a director on Arkham.
Well, just
Oh,
another
Evan
thing.
Hanley has E303 booth footage of Raw too, where the
Oh yeah,
fucker will
yeah,
not
I
just
saw it.
hold the camera up so you can see.
Backyard wrestling as
Like,
well.
at this point, I probably genuinely think that game is better than Raw too.
So I guess like the Last Ronin game dead is, but I know they killed the movie, which I don't understand at all.
I think literally anything that THQ Nordic has announced is in grave danger of being shit canned.
Oh, right. They announced that they're doing like another Turtles movie, but not the Last Ronin. So that to me was like such an easy win. Like if you could have tied it to the original trilogy, and you have that emotional connection with people who grew up with the Turtles, and they're all adults now. So it's like doing an R-rated. How the fuck could you fail? Like I don't get it. I don't get it.
People in charge are often very, very fucking dumb.
Well, it's funny because they're the ones that came up with the idea. Like the guy that used to work with WB, Walter Hamada was his idea, I think. And it's like it's such an easy layup. Like you got these old movies that everyone loves, and you're making this new movie that you could just tie it in, and everyone would be so into it. And it's like, I that it pisses me off because I really wanted to say that, but
Oh,
and it
I
came in
have to note this.
shit.
Um, allegedly, a PlayStation State of Play is coming on February the 12th.
Okay.
Um, as I said
So
on Reset Era, I guess this is where I'm supposed to put on the clown paint again and pretend that God of Vania is real.
yeah, well, it'll be
Someone,
Japanese
someone did reach out
RPG.
to me.
Yeah.
I'll say this: someone did reach out to me on Reset Era and was like, we're gonna come back to your post on the 12th," and I was like, "Oh, I'm sure we will, motherfucker."
Yeah.
Oh,
God.
speaking of God of War, my Sigma Studios unlicensed Kratos figure finally shipped, and it
Oh.
should be here tomorrow. I actually should check the USPS track. Dude, if I get that Kratos figure and there's like even the slightest sign of a pulse of the God of War series the next week, then I'll be doing some sort of a dance. I don't
Well,
know what.
I mean, we're talking about Sony here. I mean, there's all those announcements about that Amazon show, and like, if history shows us anything, it's like, you know, they don't give a shit if people are into like their TV shows or whatever, and it's adding to their IP. They're not going to do anything with the video games as seen by Twisted Metal, which is getting like a third season, and the video games are nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, but that was a case where they had a live service game in development. This game's apparently a much smaller budget game that was just somebody had an idea. I don't think
Yeah,
it's
but
real. I don't care how many reliable leakers fucking say that thing is real.
even if
I
it's
mean, there's a chance. There's a
even if
chance
it
on the 15th when we record where I'm like, motherfucker, we won. But
I mean, even if it is real, like the way the video game industry is these days, like it not seeing the light of day is a possibility, as shocking as it seems, because it's a popular franchise. But like, I'm not putting anything past them at this point.
Yeah, especially with the recent Prince of Persia
Yeah,
nonsense, I get it. This is going to be a weird one. I don't think they're going to axe a God of War game unless it's like the fucking live service one, because they gutted their live service games, which you could have just not had those developed in the first place. I don't know, man.
yeah.
That's just me.
I don't know.
That's
Well,
just me and my crazy liberal fucking brain, I guess.
someone will be like, I don't
But
like Kratos' right. Yeah, cancel the whole project. So I don't know.
I've seen people saying like, well, how would the Blades of Chaos work in 2D? Bitch, there was a cell phone game 20 years ago that got rave reviews and everybody fucking loved it, and people have wanted a fucking remake of it for years. That's how that shit works.
There's always a way to
Square,
make
square,
that shit
triangle.
work. Yeah.
Yeah, square, square, triangle, motherfucker. That shit will never change. But yeah, if it gets revealed, cool. I'll sit down and watch it because like those typically go on what at like 5 p.m. I'll be just getting home from work most likely. So yeah, I'll just be getting home from work and it'll be
What's the date again?
the 12th. So
Okay.
that's next Thursday.
Okay.
So we'll see. I mean, I imagine we're gonna see something on that Saros game. And when we
Yeah.
saw like the first look at that looked really freaking cool.
Yeah.
I'll say this. There were people I've seen ever since that God of War game was rumored, like, well, imagine what the reception's going to be when they see it's not like a big budget AAA game. I don't give a fuck, man. Like, give me this game. Apparently, according to one of the leakers on Reset Era, if this game comes out and does well, they have plans for like a sequel already.
Mm.
Which seeing that is what makes me skeptical this thing fucking exists, because Sony does not think that long term.
I mean, if it happens, we'll see. I mean, if people are into the IP, then saying like a low budget game, I mean,
They'll
I
shit
don't see
on it
why.
because of the graphics. It doesn't matter, but like this game is probably not explicitly targeting the hardcore, like the people that think the Norse games are like high art. This game is targeting
Yeah.
the fucks like that think the Greek games are the games that are good, and also um being interrupted while I'm in the middle of a sentence. And also people that like games like Blasphemous and fucking what's the other one? And I don't know about Hollow Knight. I haven't played it, but it seems very clearly like if you're going to do a Metroidvania, it's going to be in the vein of those games.
Yeah,
So we'll
I think
see.
that sounds like a good way to go. I'm not even a God of War fan, and that sounds like it would be interesting. So
We'll see. In a week and a half, we'll see, and then 2 weeks from now, I mean, at least in 2 weeks, I will have something God of War related to talk about because my Kratos figure is in Indianapolis, so should be here tomorrow.
Yep.
They did some interesting shit with the blades. He has a magnet in his torso, and there's a magnet in the blades. So like you can pose him with the blades, like how he has them. Like I've never understood how they just like stay when they're on his back, but you can pose them with that. There's blades that have like actual chains, so you can wrap those around and they'll stay like magnetized, and he can just hold the blades in his hands.
You see, this was a bootleg.
Yeah,
A lot of these bootleg companies seem to be doing some pretty good stuff these days.
yeah. The unlicensed figure market is wild. There's unlicensed Leon Kennedy figures that look way better than anything we're ever going to get from a major company.
I'm looking at it now. It does look pretty cool.
And apparently they're doing a God of War 3 Kratos that's going to come with all of the weapons from that game. So like the Nemesis Whip, the Cestus. Obviously he's not going to have the full like Spartan phalanx gimmick from his like one power up attack, but it's going to be cool to see what that figure looks like. I also can't imagine it's going to be the same price as the one that I just got, which I think all things told with shipping was like $100.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was $10 for the down payment and then like 92 for the second payment plus shipping, which that's not even that bad when you look at like the higher end action figures that are out there right now. That figure looks right in line with them. So, and McFarlane's doing God of War, but it's Norse God of War, so I don't think I'm ever going to get the version of the fucking pale guy who yells Athena a bunch that I want unless I buy the aftermarket ones or the third party unlicensed ones. But yeah, that'll probably do us for this
Yep.
time. Next time it'll probably just be like a Toy Fair recap and whatever. I mean, there's going to be a bunch of 2K news to go over. The floodgates are about to open. It's already been revealed, so that'll be a hoot. I hope everybody enjoyed us fantasy booking WWF Action Zone at the top. That was a lot of me just sitting there getting in my bag about what I think a game in '95 should have been. But yeah, until next time, take care. Don't be an asshole. And I don't remember how to get Craig to stop recording, so this is going to be riveting audio as I say,
It's
see you all next time. Oh, it's fucking slash stop. Jesus Christ.